Phoenix Knights. Chapter 191. Final Trial Points, 2570. Participant, your score has reached 1000 and you will receive the highest treatment of the Floating Crest Palace. Zhao Feng stood within the white crystal palace with a pale face as he wiped the blood from his mouth. The hill monster's power before he was eliminated was still fresh in his mind. In front of that power, even those at the true spirit realm were minuscule. Wisps of white light shone onto Zhao Feng's body and a warm feeling spread throughout his body, allowing his injuries to quickly recover. This warm feeling was similar to the jade that Zhao Feng had obtained from the treasury, and it had a healing effect. 2570 seems to be very high, so I'll receive the highest treatment? Zhao Feng came back to his senses and thought about the voice just now. He was the last to be eliminated, so his score was definitely number 1. However, because he was the last to be eliminated, he didn't know the scores of the others before him. Usually, only one person's score will reach 1000 every 1000 years or so. However, your score has broken the record of the Floating Crest Palace in the past 10,000 years. As for the records from 10,000 years ago, there's no way to find them. A tall figure of a man appeared out of nowhere. The figure of the man was made of white light, and although it was just an illusion, it seemed to have some intelligence. Zhao Feng looked closely and found that the man's face was familiar. He suddenly remembered the youth called Li Luan in the illusion. You're Li Luan? Zhao Feng couldn't help but ask. Because the two looked too similar, the only difference was that the man's aura was more mature. I'm Li Luan. What you see is just a wisp of consciousness that contains part of the main body's consciousness. The man smiled and explained. Zhao Feng clicked his tongue. Although this man wasn't alive or had a physical body, he had intelligence. Meow meow. At this moment, the little thieving cat crawled out from the interspatial bracelet and stood on Zhao Feng's shoulder as it curiously inspected the man. Surprise flashed through the man's eyes when he saw the little thieving cat, but he didn't ask anything. Trial taker, your trial score has exceeded 1000. You will enjoy the following treatment. First, use the trial points to exchange for cultivation techniques, divine weapons, and treasures. Secondly, within the scope of my ability, you can request something from me, provided that I can do it. Of course, completing the request will cost you a corresponding amount of trial points. Thirdly, I'll customize a simple inheritance for you for free, the silhouette said. A total of 3 benefits? Zhao Feng fell into deep thought. According to his understanding of the Floating Crest Palace, normal trial takers would only receive the first treatment, which was to exchange their trial points for items. The second treatment, making a request, was unheard of. As for the third point, he had only vaguely heard the first elder mention that there was a chance to obtain the corresponding inheritance in the trial. My greatest advantage is the second point. You can make wishes with greater scope and flexibility, Zhao Feng thought to himself. But first, Zhao Feng had to understand how trial points could be exchanged. Information soon appeared on the floating crest token above his head. First, the source of Zhao Feng's trial points. After passing the first trial, he had obtained 20 trial points. After passing the second trial, he had obtained 30 trial points. The third trial was calculated by time, starting from when he was chased by the black metal monster. The first trial lasted for 10 days. Every day he lasted would give him 10 trial points. Like this, the total points for the first trial round, 100. Only Zhao Feng, Bei Moi, and Yan Gan had completed it. The second trial lasted for 10 days. Every day he lasted would give him 20 trial points. Therefore, the total points for the second trial round, 200. Only Zhao Feng and Bei Moi had achieved this. Based on this, only Zhao Feng had obtained 300 trial points in the third trial round. In the fourth trial round, Zhao Feng had been eliminated by the mountain monster on the first day, gaining 40 trial points. Therefore, Zhao Feng's total score was 720. My performance score is a bit too high. I actually got 1350 points. Zhao Feng checked again. It turned out that killing a black iron giant monster, including indirect kills, was worth 100 trial points. Zhao Feng had indirectly killed a total of 8 black metal monsters, gaining 800 trial points. Bei Moi didn't even kill a single black metal monster. Adding on the fact that he lasted for less time than me, there's at least 1,000 trial points difference between us. A smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. This meant that the other disciples with the best results would have a difference of at least 1,000 trial points. Next, Zhao Feng started to ask about the exchange rate. Mortal Tier, top grade cultivation technique, 80 trial points for 1. Mortal Tier, top grade divine weapon, 100 trial points for 1. The items will appear randomly. Spirit class low rank cultivation technique, 400 trial points for 1. Spirit class low rank divine weapon, 500 trial points for 1. The level that Zhao Feng was paying attention to was quite high. In the Floating Crest Palace, the highest you could exchange for was a Spirit Tier middle rank skill or a Spirit Tier middle rank magical weapon, which cost 1,500 and 2,000 respectively. Zhao Feng, of course, wouldn't exchange for such a high-level item. After thinking for a while, Zhao Feng made his decision. First, give me a simple inheritance for free. This was the third benefit that he would receive. Normal disciples probably wouldn't have this advantage, but Bei Moi might. Okay. As soon as the glowing man finished speaking, a transparent white light entered Zhao Feng's body. It was a mysterious aura that didn't contain any hostility. Instead, it was warm and friendly as it entered his blood, bones, and even his mental energy. However, when the aura got close to the green abyss in his left eye, it disappeared like a stone sinking into the ocean. I'm sorry, I can't give you a suitable inheritance. The path that you're most suited for is mental energy, and even deeper would be the soul. For example, the mental illusion Tao, the Buddhist Zen Tao, the divination sect, and even the ghost corpse sect. How is that possible? Zhao Feng was slightly depressed. Li Fuwan's opinion was similar to First Elder's. The Floating Crest Palace belongs to the righteous path, but mental energy is a bit unorthodox. Furthermore, you have the corresponding bloodline, so it's even harder to give it to you. Of course, since you're fated with the Floating Crest lightning seal and have some foundation in lightning skills, I can give you the highest lightning inheritance of the Floating Crest Palace. The glowing man said calmly. Okay. Zhao Feng nodded his head. Since he could receive the highest lightning inheritance of the Floating Crest Palace, at least it wasn't a loss. Boom! A powerful wave of information flowed into Zhao Feng's mind, causing the entire palace to shine brightly. A while later, a 3-floored tower appeared in the depths of Zhao Feng's mind. On the first floor, there was a scene similar to the Floating Crest lightning seal, but it was longer and more complete. The scene displayed the intent of the lightning inheritance, as well as explanations of how to use it. The second and third floors were dark and inaccessible. The lightning inheritance has been sealed in your mind. At the Ascended Realm, you can only comprehend the first floor at most. The second floor requires you to be at the true spirit realm. The third floor requires you to be at least at the third sky of the true spirit realm, the true Lord realm. If you can comprehend all of the lightning inheritance's intent, it won't be hard for you to reach the peak of the continent. The glowing man said. This lightning inheritance is indeed powerful. The 3 heavens of the true spirit realm are split into the true human rank, true mystic rank, and true lord rank. The elders of the Broken Moon clan probably haven't reached the second sky of the true spirit realm yet. Zhao Feng's heart was filled with excitement. The lightning inheritance involved the usage of lightning ultimacy, including attack, movement, inner force, secret techniques, and many other aspects. The so-called inheritance obviously had a system. However, the lightning inheritance was vast, and Zhao Feng could only touch the surface of the first floor. If he could completely control the first floor, even normal true human rank cultivators wouldn't be his match. After the inheritance, Zhao Feng's target was the second treatment, which was to ask for Li Fuwan's wishes. The first request is that I want to know the background of this little cat and sign a legendary pet contract with it, Zhao Feng said. The little thieving cat's background was mysterious, and Zhao Feng didn't have any restrictions with it. After the trial ended, the cat could run away at any time. Meow meow! The little thieving cat stood on Zhao Feng's shoulder and waved its paws, expressing its dissatisfaction. Sorry, I don't know the background of this cat, but its bloodline is very special. As for whether you can sign a blood contract with it, it depends on its resistance and the strength of your bloodline. The glowing man glanced at the little thieving cat and shook his head. Tell me the method and help me increase the success rate. Zhao Feng was willing to try. The glowing man nodded his head. This will cost you 200 points, and that's the lowest requirement. The glowing man then told the method of forming a blood contract with a pet to Zhao Feng. The glowing man stood in the middle while Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat stood on the left and right. According to the request, a few drops of blood were taken from the two. The glowing man swiped his hand and the blood formed a strange blood-colored picture in the air. The little thieving cat curled its lips but didn't resist. Perhaps it knew that resistance was useless in front of Li Fuluan. The blood-colored picture formed between Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat. The glowing man's finger swiped across the air and a mysterious ripple extended from the picture into the two's bodies. Soon, Zhao Feng had a weird feeling, and on the other side was the little thieving cat. It actually succeeded. The glowing Li Fuluan was slightly surprised and looked deeply at the little thieving cat. It was obvious that he didn't have high hopes for Zhao Feng. The blood contract had Zhao Feng as the master, and the little thieving cat had officially become Zhao Feng's pet. Zhao Feng was also slightly surprised. The little thieving cat didn't resist when forming the blood contract, and instead smiled faintly. The second request is the origin of my Yin shadow cloak and if it's worth repairing and how to repair it. Zhao Feng soon gave his second request. This is an ancient treasure that's similar to an inheritance weapon. Its main effect is to increase one's speed and hide one's aura. Because it's an inheritance weapon, you'll need to discover its power yourself. To you, its value is more than 10 times higher than a spiritual grade weapon. Li Fuluan smiled and answered. Zhao Feng was very satisfied with the answer. Inheritance weapons could be used by those at the Ascended Realm even if they reached the spiritual grade, and they would be able to unleash as much power as they had. An inherited divine weapon could grow alongside its master. Its value was naturally not something a divine weapon of the same level could compare to. Chapter 192. According to what Zhao Feng knew, Bei Moi seemed to be the luckiest person in this trial and had obtained an inheritance item, the mysterious green gold cicada robe. Inheritance treasures don't have high requirements for cultivation, but the word inheritance means that only a small number of people can inherit it. Li Fuluan added. Zhao Feng had the same feeling. For example, if it wasn't for his bloodline power, he wouldn't have been able to activate the Yin Shadow Cloak. Without the corresponding requirements, even if an expert at the true spirit realm obtained an inheritance treasure, it wouldn't be of much use. Li Fuluan then told Zhao Feng the method to repair the cloak. To repair this cloak, you need at least a Grandmaster blacksmith, and the blacksmith's cultivation must be at the true spirit realm. Furthermore, you're missing some important materials that are almost extinct. I can exchange most of them for you, but the cost is higher than normal. Li Fuluan said. How many points do I need in total? Zhao Feng asked. Answering your question costs 200 trial points. Exchanging for these materials requires 500 trial points, a total of 700. The man answered. Okay, exchange. Zhao Feng didn't hesitate. An inheritance treasure, especially one that was so unique and hidden, was even more valuable than a spirit weapon to him. It had to be known that exchanging for a spirit-grade divine weapon only cost 500 trial points. However, spiritual-grade weapons didn't have much use for Zhao Feng, and he could only give them to the clan in exchange for some compensation. You still have 1670 points. Redeem 1 low-grade spiritual weapon, 2 spirit-level cultivation methods, 4 peak-rank mortal cultivation methods, and 8 high-rank mortal cultivation methods. Zhao Feng expressionlessly listed out the items he wanted. Most of the items he exchanged for were cultivation techniques. He had only exchanged for a spirit-grade artifact for a symbolic purpose, just to create a gimmick. Those cultivation methods were all carriers of information. They contained special scenes and powerful, profound meanings. Zhao Feng opened his left eye and absorbed all the information into the dimension of his left eye. At that time, he wouldn't feel any pain even if he gave them to the clan. Broken Moon Clan. The trial had been going on for 48 days. Most of the trial takers were eliminated within a month. Ever since Bei Moi broke the 1,000-year record, the area outside the Floating Crest Palace became quiet again. The entrance of the Floating Crest Palace was guarded by the 5 true Spirit Realm cultivators. In the past few days, the Broken Moon Clan's inner clan was in chaos. The disciples of this year's trial had all achieved great results in the Floating Crest Palace. Many of them had made breakthroughs and their strength had increased tremendously. The biggest change was in the position of true disciple. Over the past few days, the ranking of the true disciples had undergone an earth-shattering change. First was Yanggan, who had broken through to the 6th sky of the Ascended Realm, and became the head disciple. The original head disciple was about to reach the upper limit of 30 years old, and was no longer a disciple. After all, a sect would not endlessly nurture the younger generation. Once they reached a certain age, they would be assigned to other departments of the sect. However, Yanggan didn't wait for him to be transferred and directly defeated the head disciple of the 6th sky. Apart from Yanggan, Bei Moi, Quan Chen, Ran Xiaoyuan and company all had good performances. Bei Moi, in particular, was said to have obtained a mysterious inheritance during the trial. After he came out, his cultivation had stabilized at the peak of stage 4. 3 days ago, Bei Moi defeated Qin Xingrui, who was ranked 2nd, and became 2nd. This time, Bei Moi defeated a core disciple at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm. Apart from that, Quan Chun and Ran Xiaoyuan had entered the 5th and 6th core disciples respectively. Even Lin Fan and Lu Yu's cultivation had reached the peak of the 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm, and they had the strength to challenge core disciples. Although there would be some fluctuations in the position of the direct disciples after the previous trials, the position of the direct disciples would more or less fluctuate. However, it was rare for the top 10 true disciples to be overthrown by the trial disciples in this batch. Furthermore, the true first, Zhao Feng, who had trained the lightning wind palm, hadn't come out yet. It could be predicted that in the following month, the positions of the 10 great core disciples would undergo further changes. All of this fell into the eyes of the upper echelons of the clan. The clan master and the elders were all happy. The intense competition between the inner disciples could push the younger generation forward. Floating Crest Palace, the entrance of the stairs. The clan master and the 5 elders could look down at the competition between the inner disciples of the central division. This time's Floating Crest trial is destined to be the peak of the last 1,000 years. The disciples this time may push the Broken Moon clan to the peak of 1,000 years. Splendor twinkled in the clan master's eyes. The elders all nodded their heads as they placed their hopes on their disciples. For the past 1,000 years, the Broken Moon clan has always been at the bottom of the 13 clan alliances. If it's not last, it's second to last. The alliance banquet that happens once every 10 years will start in half a year. I hope that these disciples will be able to display their skills on a bigger stage. Although the Broken Moon clan master was a woman, her words weren't lacking in ambition. Clan master is right. The alliance banquet is filled with geniuses and this is a chance for them to gain experience. However, before that, the 3-sect party with the Lin Moon sect and the Silver Moon sect is also imminent. First elder smiled faintly. Hearing the mention of the 3-clan party, the expressions of the elders changed slightly as if they were paying more attention to it. The 3-clan party represented 3 clans, the Lin Moon clan, the Silver Moon clan and the Broken Moon clan. If one paid attention, they would realize that the 3 clans all had the word Moon in their names. So a long time ago, the Broken Moon clan and the other 2 clans belonged to the same clan. But due to various reasons, the clan split into 3 smaller clans, which became the Lin Moon clan, Silver Moon Clan and Broken Moon Clan. Even now, the three clans still maintained contact. The territories of the three clans were next to each other, and due to their deep relationship, they would often form an alliance to fight against enemies. Of course, at the same time as they formed an alliance, the three clans would fight against each other. The three-clan party that happened once every 5 years was the time for them to compete. The Lin Moon Clan sent out an invitation half a month ago. The three-clan party will be held in a month. This time, I will give them a surprise. The clan master smiled and said confidently. In the past, when the three-clan party was mentioned, both the clan master and elders would furrow their eyebrows. This was because the other two clans were ranked 4th and 7th in the 13 clans and were stronger than the Broken Moon Clan. Every three-clan party, the Broken Moon Clan would always be at the bottom. This made the clan master and elders feel like they had lost face. I hope that this time will bring some surprises and turn the tables. Otherwise, I won't have the face to see those old farts. The elders looked at each other and smiled. Just as the elders were lost in their reverie, a voice suddenly rang out. When an azure light flashed at the entrance of the stairs. An azure-haired figure appeared at the entrance. I'm finally out. Zhao Feng let out a long breath as his expression was slightly weak. He had just opened his left eye and copied many skills, which had used up a lot of his mental energy. The sudden appearance of the figure caused the expressions of the 5 experts at the true spirit realm to change, unable to react in time. The light faded. Zhao Feng found that the 10 pairs of eyes of the clan master and the 4 elders were staring at him. Cunning brat, you've finally come out. Kneel down and admit your wrongs. Elder Shui had an unfriendly expression as he vented the anger in his chest. Zhao Feng, do you know your wrongs? Hai Yun Elder exclaimed as coldness flashed in his eyes. Granny Liu Yue's eyebrows were tightly furrowed as she looked at Zhao Feng. The auras of the true spirit realm made Zhao Feng feel suffocated. Right at this moment. Boom! The floating crest palace suddenly shook as the green lightning around it dimmed by more than half, causing the wind and clouds to move. Immediately following that, a strong surge of lightning pushed everyone away. The floating crest palace has closed. First Elder exclaimed as he grabbed Zhao Feng and landed on the central hall square. Chiu Chiu the clan master and the elders all landed on the square. The commotion caused by the floating crest palace caused the heaven-earth yuan qi to tremble and an invisible pressure spread across dozens of miles. Many members of the clan were shocked. The floating crest palace has closed. Has that guy come out? Humph! Brat named Zhao, just wait for everyone's wrath. Yangon, Beimhua, Quan Chin and the other inner disciples all had different reactions. In a certain place in the clan, within a strict hall. The trial has ended. That brat won't be able to escape the clan's punishment. A cold voice filled with anger resounded through the hall. Shortly after, a soaring aura streaked across the sky. In just a short amount of time, the entire clan exploded. Many figures rushed towards the central hall square. Among them were Quan Chin, Lu Hu, Sun Yuanhao and company who all had unfriendly expressions as they condemned Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng! You cunning bastard! You killed senior brother in the trial and stole the fruits of my victory! Quan Chen's face was filled with anger, and he wanted to rip Zhao Feng to shreds. Brat named Zhao, you dared to kick me into the abyss and cut off my fortune. My master is the regulations elder, and he definitely won't let you go. Lu Hu roared. If it wasn't for the fact that the elders were here, he would have probably charged up and fought with Zhao Feng already. Woo-woo. Brother Zhao! I didn't think you were this kind of person. The floating crest trial only comes once in a lifetime. If it wasn't for you kicking me into the abyss, I might have been able to obtain the inheritance like Brother Beimhua. Sun Yuanhao's baby-like face was filled with innocence as he cried. Humph! I didn't think there would be such a scum in the clan. Some of the female disciples couldn't help but sympathize as they condemned Zhao Feng. Meow meow! A small gray cat the size of a palm jumped onto Zhao Feng's shoulder, and its black eyes looked towards the crowd. What a cute cat! The eyes of some of the female disciples lit up. It's this cat. It colluded with Zhao Feng to trick me. Bei Moi was enraged when he saw the little thieving cat. At this point in time, the crowd became chaotic as people condemned Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. These people were working together to target him. As the first in the trial, how could he allow them to slander him? No, he had to suppress their arrogance. A bunch of idiots! Zhao Feng's cold voice was like thunder. What? The expressions of the disciples who were condemning Zhao Feng froze and they were all stunned. They obviously didn't think that the culprit would be so arrogant in front of so many people. Don't use excuses to cover up your incompetence. If you really had the strength, the first in the trial wouldn't have been me. Zhao Feng stood proudly as his azure hair blew in the wind. His eyes were as sharp as lightning as he coldly scanned across these people. He laughed coldly in his heart. Since ancient times, history has always been written by the victors. Who was first in the trial? It was me. Not clowns like you. You. Instantly, the faces of the disciples who were condemning Zhao Feng became ashen and their arrogance disappeared. Chapter 193. When it was time to be arrogant, he would be arrogant, and when it was time to take action, he would take action. Zhao Feng had just left the floating crest palace, and he had already been slandered by these people. How could he tolerate this? Under such circumstances, any explanation or reasoning would be futile. Only by bringing out unparalleled strength and dominance would he be able to shock the entire audience. Zhao Feng had succeeded. He had used his arrogant attitude to suppress everyone. But these people had nothing to say. Whoever had the strength would take first place. Zhao Feng had come first in the trial, and he indeed had the right to do so. As the saying goes, the winner takes all. History was never written by the weak. The clan master and elders looked at each other. They didn't think that Zhao Feng would still be so arrogant in front of everyone. But thinking about how this brat had come first in the trial and was a man who trained the lightning wind palm, it would be abnormal if he didn't act like this. Zhao Feng, don't be arrogant! Elder Shui and Haiyun Master's expressions dimmed as they circulated their chi of true spirit, and a powerful pressure filled the air. If they wanted to kill their disciple, Zhao Feng, they only needed the flick of a finger. But they didn't dare. Firstly, Zhao Feng had come first in the trial. Secondly, behind Zhao Feng stood First Elder. They had used their true spirit realm aura to suppress Zhao Feng's arrogance. However, they were disappointed. Zhao Feng stood still as his azure hair blew in the wind. His eyes were cold and sharp as he didn't move. After the trial, Zhao Feng had endured many true spirit realm auras. The most terrifying mountain monster had killed 4 black metal monsters at the true spirit realm with one thought. Its aura was more than a level higher than the 2 elders in front of him. In the dimension of Zhao Feng's left eye, the azure abyss spun and his bloodline power spread throughout his body, reducing the pressure to the minimum. Meow meow! Not only was Zhao Feng unaffected, the little thieving cat also bared its teeth as it looked mockingly at Haiyun Master and Elder Shui. This cat isn't simple. Could it be the cat that tricked Bei Moi? Haiyun Master's eyes lit up. With the cultivation of the true spirit realm experts present, how could they not see the little thieving cat's uniqueness? Just based on its intelligence, normal spiritual beasts couldn't compare to it. More importantly, this cat was able to ignore the pressure of the true spirit realm, which meant that it had a very high aptitude or a very powerful bloodline inheritance. For example, those legendary rare birds and divine beasts such as Qilin, True Dragon, Great Ping. Even in their infancy, they had a certain level of suppression, which was enough to deter ordinary demonic beasts. Thinking up to here, Haiyun Master's eyes became eager. Everyone, calm down! Martial Nephew Zhao was, after all, the number 1 person in this trial, so this matter was of great importance. After that, the sect will give you an answer. The Broken Moon Clan Master's cold voice contained the authority of a clan master. The elders reached an agreement. The most important thing now was to figure out Zhao Feng's gains and fortuitous encounters. One had to know that Zhao Feng had stayed in the trial for 10 days longer than Bai Moi, who had broken the 1,000-year record. Some of the disciples, such as Quan Chen and Bai Moi, went silent. No matter how much they said, Zhao Feng's title of number one couldn't be shaken. Seeing the clan master and company lead Zhao Feng into the central division. From the looks of it, it was very likely that the matter regarding Zhao Feng would be suppressed by the upper echelons of the clan. Quan Chen, Lu Hu and company all had unwillingness on their faces. Right at this moment, a powerful true spirit realm aura came from the mountains far away. Brat Zhao Feng, don't be so arrogant. A country has its laws and a clan has its rules. With me here, no matter how great your contributions are, you won't be able to escape the clan's punishment. An imperious yet forceful voice exploded like thunder, causing the elders to stop in their tracks. As soon as the voice finished, an azure-clothed elder holding a staff appeared in the air above the central division. Regulations Elder. Some of the disciples exclaimed as they bowed with respect. The Regulations Elder was one of the most special elders in the clan. He held the power of life and death and was in charge of the clan's rules. Even if the clan master broke the rules, the Regulations Elder had the right to step out and question him. Furthermore, the Regulations Elder had a spiritual grade weapon and his strength surpassed normal elders. Great. Master has taken action and the Regulations Elder wants to punish this disciple. Even the clan master can't go against him. Lu Hu was overjoyed. Quan Chen and company's worry turned into joy and they gloated. Seeing the Regulations Elder appear, the clan master's eyes were filled with worry. If the Regulations Elder wanted to punish Zhao Feng, she wouldn't be able to protect him. The clan master's gaze couldn't help but turn towards First Elder with a questioning look. This wasn't only because First Elder was Zhao Feng's master, but also because of his position. Regulations Elder, come down with us. Let us witness the highest record of the Floating Crest trial. First Elder's tone was calm, as if he was inviting and ordering. At this moment, the other elders were strangely silent. In a battle like this, First Elder would be the key. Sure, I'll witness it. The Regulations Elder was obviously wary of First Elder. The First Elder, with just the word first, was enough to suppress all the other elders in the sect. He was the leader of the elders. Elders Shui and Haiyun Elder looked at each other and sighed. Is First Elder planning to protect this outer disciple? Originally, the Regulations Elder was prepared to take down Zhao Feng and sentence him for his crimes. However, even the Enforcement Elder had to give face to the Great Elder. Zhao Feng saw this scene and he couldn't help but feel lucky that his choice was correct. That day at the Scarlet Moon Demonic Nest, he would rather be First Elder's outer disciple than another Elder's core disciple. Someone like First Elder wouldn't easily take in disciples, but once he did, he would be responsible for protecting him. Back then, First Elder didn't want to take Zhao Feng as a disciple because he had a disciple who trained the Lightning Wind Palm and met with misfortune. Although First Elder seemed indifferent, once someone was approved by him, they would be taken care of. First Elder led the way into the central hall and even walked in front of the clan master, as if he was the leader. The clan master and the Regulations Elder followed closely behind. The other elders exchanged glances and seemed to be thinking about First Elder's intentions. At this moment, First Elder's performance was too domineering. The Regulations Elder's expression changed slightly and became solemn. This is First Elder. No wonder he's my master. Domineering! Domineering! Zhao Feng was slightly shocked. The atmosphere was all because of First Elder. He even felt that the normal elders didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Finally, Zhao Feng realized that First Elder's position in the clan was higher than he had imagined. On the surface, the clan master had the highest power in the clan, but in reality, that wasn't the case. At this moment, First Elder walked at the front and no one expressed any dissatisfaction. Instead, they all became cautious. Brother Zhao, go in. Yang Gan reminded Zhao Feng. His expression was slightly complicated. He didn't think that his master would actually protect this outer disciple. Yang Gan wasn't surprised by First Elder's power at all. All of this was because of one thing, and that was that first elder was the strongest in the clan. Strength was above everything else. In the world of the clan, no matter if it was the righteous or demonic path, they couldn't escape this rule. Because the great elder had the most powerful strength in the sect, even the disciplinary elder had to retreat a little when he was so domineering. Yangon laughed coldly in his heart. Master is usually low-key and these elders don't know what's good for them. Only now do they understand who is the strongest in the clan. Soon, the group of elders entered the Central Hall Division. Vice Headley of the Central Hall Division was shocked. What was going on? Why were all the elders here? The atmosphere didn't seem right. Inside the hall, apart from the elders, the disciples that had participated in the trial were also allowed to enter. Marshal Nephew Zhao, what was your result in this trial? The Broken Moon Clan Master's eyes were filled with expectation. Around 1,000. Zhao Feng said casually. Around 1,000? The disciples all took in a cold breath. His score is over 1,000. Even Brother Beimhua is only 900. This time, he probably broke the 10,000-year record. The hall broke into chaos. Hee, so Beimhua was only 900. Zhao Feng laughed in his heart. Around 1,000? How much is 1,000? First Elder glared at Zhao Feng. 1,588. Zhao Feng purposely gave a little less because he had some points to fulfill his wish. But even so, this score was something that all the disciples could only look up to. 1,500. This has broken the 10,000-year record. First Elder was extremely satisfied and his face was red. After that, Zhao Feng showed them his rewards. Spiritual grade weapon. First was a spiritual grade treasure saber, which made the elders' eyes light up and their hearts palpitate. After that, Zhao Feng took out 2 more spiritual grade skills, one more than Beimhua. Spiritual grade skills were the ultimate skills of the Broken Moon clan. Giving out 2 at once was already a pleasant surprise. Apart from that, there were also 4 peak-class mortal skills that only elders and vice heads had the right to learn. Zhao Feng was very generous and gave the spiritual grade sword and all the skills to the clan. In addition, there was a large batch of natural resources, some of which were extremely valuable and some of which Zhao Feng had no use for, so he offered up a portion as well. In reality, the most valuable skills were all taken by Zhao Feng into the dimension of his left eye. The cat on you doesn't seem normal. Hai-Yun Master's eyes turned. Meow meow. The little thieving cat bared its teeth at Hai-Yun Master with a face full of disdain and mockery. Ha! Seeing Hai-Yun Master's embarrassment, the elders present all laughed. Hai-Yun Master wasn't angry as he stared at Zhao Feng and said, How many spirit stones do you want for this cat, or what price do you want? Give it to me. Not selling. The little thieving cat has already signed a blood pact with me. Zhao Feng decisively shook his head. He clucked his tongue. Hai-Yun Master's eyes were indeed sharp to be interested in the little thieving cat. Fenger, your score in the Floating Crest trial may have broken the highest record in history. Did you receive the corresponding inheritance? First Elder asked with a concerned expression. Hearing this, Zhao Feng felt warmth in his heart. The other elders all cared about what he had gained and how much he could bring to the clan. Only legacies were of the greatest use to the trial takers. Everything else was just external items. After this question was asked, the elders and disciples present were all very curious. This was especially so for Beimhua. He was the only one who had received an inheritance. No. Zhao Feng's simple answer surprised everyone present. Chapter 194. No? Everyone in the hall, from the clan master to the deacons and disciples, had shock and doubt on their faces. Zhao Feng, who came first in the trial and broke the 10,000-year record, didn't receive the inheritance. Beimhua, who came second in the trial, didn't receive the inheritance even though his score didn't break 1,000. How could Zhao Feng not have it? Whether or not one can receive the inheritance depends on one's luck. Disappointment was written on the Broken Moon clan master's face. Zhao Feng was indeed a genius to be able to break the 10,000-year record in the trial. He definitely had his own abilities and methods. If he could receive the inheritance, he would be able to become a prodigy of the Broken Moon clan in the future. Unfortunately, although Zhao Feng had broken the record, he didn't receive what was most important to him. At the same time, Zhao Feng's reply made many people let out a breath. So what if you came first in the trial without the inheritance? You'll still be defeated by me in the future. A faint smile appeared on Beimoi's lips as he said confidently. Zhao Feng's talent was average, and if he had received the inheritance, he might have been a threat to him. Unfortunately, he didn't even have such an important thing. Good. Haiyun Master let out a breath. Although Zhao Feng's talent wasn't high, the potential and methods he had displayed were terrifying. If he had received the inheritance, he would be a great threat to him in the future. Luckily, this brat didn't receive the inheritance, and Beimoi could easily deal with him. Even Sun Yuanhao's eyes were filled with disdain. Without the inheritance, you'll be surpassed by me sooner or later with just a low-tier spiritual body. There will come a day when I will defeat you fair and square and wash away my shame. At this point in time, the elders and disciples started to look down on Zhao Feng. At least in the eyes of Haiyun Master and the others, Zhao Feng would at most be arrogant for a while. Zhao Feng, who saw all of this, snickered coldly in his heart. This was the result he wanted. When it was time to be high profile, he would be high profile. When it was time to be low profile, he would endure it. He emerged from the trial by fire, seizing first place, breaking a record that had existed for tens of thousands of years. He was just too dazzling, already raising the alarm of many enemies. They all felt deeply threatened. This was very disadvantageous to Zhao Feng, who was still growing. On this continent, how many dazzling geniuses have there been, but they only had a brief moment of brilliance. Those geniuses were too dazzling, showing off their abilities to the fullest. They died in internal strife or assassinations by enemies, unfortunately dying prematurely. Even the legendary genius with the highest heavenly spirit body could be strangled in the cradle by a nobody before he could grow into a peerless expert. If Elder Haiyun and the others knew that he had obtained the highest lightning inheritance of the Floating Crest Palace, it would bring them great pressure and threats. They would do whatever it takes to kill Zhao Feng. Therefore, Zhao Feng had concealed the inheritance. For a disciple with ordinary talent who did not receive any inheritance, the danger he would face in the future would be minimized. Some of the disciples of the same generation started to look down on him. However, even though Zhao Feng's words were able to fool the disciples, the elders were not so easily fooled. Elder Shui and Haiyun Master's eyes twinkled with doubt. How could someone who had broken the record of the Floating Crest Palace not receive an inheritance? This was indeed strange. Could there be some hidden secrets? Zhao Feng, I remember that those who reach a certain point in the Floating Crest trial will be rewarded with a simple inheritance, Elder Shui said in a probing tone. It was obvious that he wasn't sure either. After all, those who were able to reach that boundary were as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. Many things were merely hearsay. Haiyun Master was puzzled and felt that something wasn't right. With my results, I've obviously surpassed the requirements to receive an inheritance. Zhao Feng smiled proudly. Hearing this, the expressions of Beimoi, Quan Chan and company all changed. Could it be that Zhao Feng had received an inheritance, and he was just tricking them? Unfortunately, there's no inheritance suitable for me in the Floating Crest Palace. My talent is mental energy. Zhao Feng's face was full of regret. Mental energy? The elders looked at each other and exchanged glances. At their level, it wasn't hard for them to see Zhao Feng's mental energy, which made it easy for him to resist the pressure of the true spirit realm. First Elder was the first to see this. Mental energy is usually a side path or a wicked one. The Floating Crest Palace is a righteous inheritance, so it's impossible for it to have an inheritance like this. The Broken Moon clan master sighed and believed Zhao Feng's words. The elders present had all heard of Zhao Feng's talent in mental energy, and some of the disciples had even experienced it themselves. In the second stage, Zhao Feng had used his mental energy sound technique to destroy the bat nest's human wave tactic. This was the reason why everyone had passed the second stage. Zhao Feng, due to your outstanding performance in the Floating Crest trial and your contributions to the clan will reward you with 500,000 contribution points. At the same time, you can look through the skills in the Hollow Building, the Broken Moon clan announced. Apart from that, the clan will compensate you for the treasures you gave. The Broken Moon clan announced. 500,000 contribution points. The expressions of some of the clan members present changed. Even those who had been in the clan for tens of years didn't have this many contribution points. With this many contribution points, how many things couldn't he do in the clan? Okay, now that the rewards are over, we'll talk about the punishment. Contributions and punishment can't be mixed together. The law enforcement elder stood up slowly and stepped forward. That's right, Zhao Feng did contribute to the clan, but his character and his actions in the trial should be discussed later. Elder Shui agreed. While Zhao Feng won first place, he also harmed the future of others. Haiyun Elder coldly said. The two elders strongly supported the regulations elder. This turn of events caught the Broken Moon clan master off guard. Granny Lua remained neutral and didn't help anyone. First elder's eyes narrowed and the atmosphere became tense. It was obvious that this was the result of the three elders working together. With the regulations elder speaking and the support of two elders, even first elder couldn't refute him. After all, there wasn't a single person in the Broken Moon clan who could control the heavens with one hand. What does the regulations elder want to do? First elder's expression soon calmed down. Let's have a confrontation and be fair. Under everyone's gazes, we won't wrong a good person and we won't wrong a bad person. I trust that you won't disagree. The regulations elder said emotionlessly. That's right. I agree, regulations elder. Zhao Feng is cunning and has harmed people of the same clan. He should be kicked out of the clan. His first place in the trial was built on the foundation of harming others. This kind of person must be punished. Led by Quan Chen and Liu Hu, the others all agreed. Under this situation, even the clan master and first elder couldn't change it. If it's really fair, then I have nothing to say, the great elder said calmly. Okay, then let's have a confrontation. Zhao Feng, do you have any objections? The regulations elder nodded his head. No. Zhao Feng had an indifferent attitude. Let me ask you, why did you kick Liu Hu and Sun Yuanhao into the abyss in the first trial? The regulations elder said harshly. As soon as he finished his words, Liu Hu and Sun Yuanhao stood up and explained how they were wronged by Zhao Feng. That brat had no respect for his elders and kicked me, a core disciple, into the abyss, ruining my future, Liu Hu said with his eyes wide open. He wanted the treasure for himself and was afraid that I would fight for it, so he kicked me into the abyss, making me lose the chance to participate in the trial. Sun Yuanhao sobbed. The two of them slandered the truth, causing those who didn't know the truth to pity them and blame Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng! How do you explain this? The regulations elder questioned. These two had weak wills and were controlled by the illusion fox. They're useless. I believe that such a person would only be a burden to everyone if he were to enter the trial. That's why I kicked them out. Zhao Feng said expressionlessly. Zhao Feng! Don't insult me. Sun Yuanhao and Liu Hu were furious. Zhao Feng sneered in his heart. Do you think that I'll defend the so-called truth? These people must have colluded with each other to punish him. They must have all sorts of ways to deal with Zhao Feng. Hearing Zhao Feng's explanation, everyone was speechless. He actually kicked them out because of the other party's incompetence. Damn it! This guy's too arrogant. Many people criticized. Liu Hu and Sun Yuanhao were filled with anger. Even in this situation, Zhao Feng was still looking down on them. The regulations elder was slightly stunned. All the methods that he had prepared were useless. Zhao Feng, you're so arrogant. Then let me ask you, why did you attack Martial Nephew Quan Chen in the second stage? The regulations elder said coldly. Reporting to the sect leader and elders, I had finally reached the core of a residence, but Zhao Feng came in and stole the fruits of my victory. Quan Chen gritted his teeth and said, "Zhao Feng, how do you explain this?" As soon as he said this, Zhao Feng snickered. Brother Quan didn't have the ability to conquer the palace, so he teamed up with me. However, I felt that he wasn't good enough, so I kicked him out. Useless? Hindrance? Everyone's jaws dropped. Zhao Feng's excuse was too ridiculous. Zhao Feng, don't slander me. Quan Chen was enraged. When did he become a hindrance? Zhao Feng wasn't defending himself, he was insulting him. Zhao Feng, I've never seen someone as arrogant as you in my many years as the enforcer. Then let me ask you, why did you lie to Bei Moi in the last stage and make him leave early? The regulations elder snickered coldly. It's this little cat that colluded with Zhao Feng to lie to me. Does Brother Zhao think that I'm useless? Bei Moi stared at the little thieving cat and snickered coldly. There was no doubt that Bei Moi was strong. He had both talent and luck. Everyone thought that he couldn't use the excuse of useless or hindrance, right? Of course Brother Bei has the ability, but his intelligence is too low. He even believes the words of a cat. This kind of person only has strength, but no brains. So what if he's kicked out? Zhao Feng's lips twitched. You're saying that my intelligence is low? Wuming Bei Moi was enraged, obviously provoked. Meow meow! The little thieving cat on his shoulder waved its paws and nodded its head in agreement. You! Bei Moi was so angry that he almost spat out blood. This Zhao Feng wasn't trying to defend himself, he was just trying to humiliate him. What an arrogant brat. The regulations elder was also about to explode. This Zhao Feng didn't play by the rules and made all his plans fail. Zhao Feng immediately bowed towards the clan master and first elder. These people are either useless or have low intelligence. For the sake of the trial, this disciple decided to kick them out. This disciple is willing to bear the sin of arrogance. This sin. I admit it. Chapter 195. These people are either useless or have low intelligence. For the sake of the trial, I made the decision to kick them out. I am willing to bear the crime of arrogance. In that instant, the hall was dead silent. Even the sound of a needle dropping on the ground could be heard. Everyone was stunned. The elders' expressions were even more interesting as they all had their mouths open wide. The deacon elder and the victims, Quan Chen, Sun Yuanhao, Bei Moi and Lu Hu, all had pale expressions on their faces as they trembled in anger. How was this admitting guilt? This was obviously insulting them. Zhao Feng's words were blatantly hurtful, stabbing at the soft spot in their hearts. If they weren't useless, why would they be controlled by the illusion fox? If they weren't stupid, why would they believe the words of a cat? This was a humiliation in their hearts. Zhao Feng didn't even bother to explain himself. Instead, he slapped their faces in front of everyone. Even if Quan Chen's group won, they would still be labeled as useless, burdensome, and low intelligence. Wait for the label. The first to react was the law enforcement elder. Arrogant brat, you know you're wrong, you don't care about the law, you hurt others for your own benefit, you. The law enforcement elder suddenly stopped. Suddenly, he realized what was wrong. I am willing to bear the crime of arrogance, including not changing my ways. I don't care about the law, and I hurt others for my own benefit. Zhao Feng's azure hair moved without any wind and a mocking smile appeared on his face. The law enforcement elder and the others were about to speak, but the first elder suddenly spoke. Okay, the truth has been revealed. Furthermore, Zhao Feng has already admitted guilt. But the law enforcement elder's face was green. Law enforcement elder, you said it yourself. Zhao Feng was just arrogant and he hurt others for his own benefit, but he didn't have the intention to harm the other disciples. Furthermore, his words weren't completely unreasonable. The first elder said seriously. Hai Yun elder and Elder Shui were both dazed and speechless. Zhao Feng had already admitted to his crimes, so what else could they do? In the end, he was only charged with the crime of harming others to benefit himself and being conceited and conceited. In fact, this couldn't even be considered a crime. It was just a personality. In the world of sex, there were too many arrogant and conceited people who harmed others to benefit themselves. The only thing that could be investigated was harming others to benefit oneself and bring losses to others. How about this? Since Zhao Feng did bring harm to the other disciples, the sect will deduct 400,000 contribution points from him to appease the 4 injured disciples. The first elder suggested. This is a good method. 400,000 contribution points is equivalent to a vice hall master's 100 years of hard work in the sect. It's more than enough to atone for his crimes. Moreover, it can also make up for and comfort the few injured disciples. The Broken Moon clan master smiled in agreement. 400,000 contribution points is indeed a lot. In the past, there have been examples of people using contribution points to reduce their crimes. The originally neutral Granny Luwa actually spoke up. The enforcement elder looked at Elder Shui and Elder Hai Yun helplessly. The 3 elders were also at a loss of what to do. On the surface, the punishment that the clan had given to Zhao Feng was enough. 400,000 contribution points was a large amount of contribution points to the clan. If anyone questioned this, it would be the same as questioning the clan's reputation. However, for Zhao Feng, he still had 100,000 contribution points. There wasn't much meaning in having a certain amount of contribution points. After the Floating Crest trial, he would receive a large sum of compensation and he would be able to enter and leave the hollow building whenever he wanted. He had also received the strongest lightning inheritance of the Floating Crest Palace, which meant that he didn't need any skills. He didn't lack money, skills, or treasures. Deducting 400,000 contribution points didn't hurt Zhao Feng at all. Zhao Feng, do you have any objections? The clan master asked. Disciple has no objections to deducting contribution points, but it's better for the clan to confiscate them than to give them to these useless or stupid disciples. Zhao Feng suggested. As soon as he said this, Quan Chen and the others cursed in anger. Even if they received the contribution points today, they would never forget the humiliation they had received. It might even leave a shadow in their hearts, unless they could get revenge. Especially for Bai Moi. He was a super genius with both talent and luck. Being ranked second in the trial, he already had 200,000 contribution points as a reward. This kind of humiliation and trampling on his dignity was a fatal injury to him. Alright, that's enough. First Elder glared at Zhao Feng, telling him not to act like he didn't deserve it. At this point, Zhao Feng was the biggest winner. Not only was he not punished, he even dared to disrespect Bai Moi and the others in front of the crowd, putting them in a humiliating situation. Zhao Feng awkwardly smiled and leisurely returned to his master. Next, the elder announced a punishment and warning for Zhao Feng. Finally, a long-planned punitive expedition finally came to an end. The conflict in the Floating Crest trial was finally settled. As they walked out of the palace, Bai Moi, Quan Chan and the others were filled with anger and humiliation. After the crowd dispersed, "Come with me," First Elder said to Zhao Feng. Soon, Zhao Feng arrived at First Elder's palace. This was an elegant and unadorned room. It was quiet and secluded, and there was no one around. Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. This was his master's private place. Normally, not many people could enter this place. "Tell me, what inheritance did you receive from the Floating Crest Palace?" The Great Elder smiled calmly. Zhao Feng was stunned. How did First Elder know? I know more about the Floating Crest Palace than anyone else. With your high score, there's no way you didn't receive any inheritance. Most importantly, apart from mental energy, you're also talented in other areas. It's not hard for you to receive a simple inheritance, First Elder said confidently. Master's eyes are indeed sharp. I did receive an inheritance. Zhao Feng slowly opened his palm. Tiny electric patterns could be seen on his palm, as if they had become one with the veins of his flesh and blood. This is the lightning inheritance. The great elder sucked in a breath of cold air, and for the first time, he revealed an expression of extreme shock. He was the most experienced and powerful elder in the clan. He knew the Floating Crest Palace the best and was able to guess the origin of Zhao Feng's inheritance. With this inheritance, my lightning wind palm will be perfected. Master, will you still stop me from learning the lightning wind palm? Zhao Feng smiled faintly. First elder paused and looked at Zhao Feng with a complicated expression. Zhao Feng, who had received the lightning inheritance, definitely had the right to learn the lightning wind palm, and he had the right to be arrogant. If it wasn't for the lightning wind palm, I might not have been able to receive the lightning inheritance. This is my fortune. And I'm guessing that Baimua's inheritance is most likely related to his northern dark heavenly water. Zhao Feng continued. Fortune and karma are the hardest things to understand in the world. First elder smiled bitterly and shook his head. Who would have thought that Zhao Feng's lightning wind palm was the key to receiving the lightning inheritance of the Floating Crest Palace? He had also asked Lin Fan to try the illusion valley that Zhao Feng had been to. But Lin Fan had only received a normal Floating Crest seal, not the Floating Crest lightning seal. This was his fortune. Fengler, since you've received the lightning inheritance, I don't have much to teach you. I will recommend you to the 3-clan party in a month, but before that, you must at least reach the top 5 of the core disciples. First elder's expression was filled with joy. Although he had a lot of skills, they were nothing compared to the lightning inheritance. What reassured him even more was that while Zhao Feng seemed arrogant, he was actually calm, meticulous, powerful, and decisive. He had no mercy in his heart. This kind of mentality was the most suitable for the clan. From First Elder's point of view, the other disciples such as Yang Gan, Baimua, and Sun Yuanhao hadn't broken away from their youth and their mentality was far from Zhao Feng's. What's the 3-clan party? Zhao Feng asked curiously. First Elder revealed a weird expression. Zhao Feng didn't even mention reaching the top 5 of the core disciples, as if he didn't put it to heart. From this, it could be seen that he was completely confident. The 3-clan party is a sparring event held by the Lin Moon Clan, Silver Moon Clan, and Broken Moon Clan. It happens once every 5 years. In the past, the Broken Moon Clan was always at the bottom. This is because the Lin Moon Clan and Silver Moon Clan are ranked near the top of the 13 clans. First Elder briefly mentioned it before explaining the relationship between the 3 clans. After hearing this, Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. So the Broken Moon Clan is so weak in the 13 clans. Bullshit! The 13 clans are all small clans and they're all around the same level. This ranking is only relative. If we really fight, the Broken Moon Clan won't be afraid of anyone. The Great Elder cursed in anger. These sects, what are their levels based on? Zhao Feng suddenly became interested in the world of clans. It was obvious that the Broken Moon Clan he was in was just the tip of the iceberg. According to the ancient records, the clans are divided into 5 ranks. From 1 star to 5 stars. 1 star is the weakest and 5 stars are the strongest. Every 1 star can mean a difference of 10 to 100 times. Then how many stars does the Broken Moon Clan belong to? Zhao Feng asked urgently. How many stars? First Elder's face went red and he smiled. Let's change the question. Zhao Feng had a weird expression, but he didn't continue to ask. This 3-clan party was a chance for him to leave the Broken Moon Clan and see the geniuses and experts of the other forces. Although the 3-clan party is only a small gathering between 3 clans, there are many geniuses. For example, the Lin Moon Clan has a changeable body that's comparable to the Earth's spiritual body. His talent is even higher than Baimua's. First Elder said seriously. Earth's spiritual body. Zhao Feng's expression changed. This was a legendary talent. The most talented person in the clan was Baimua, but he was only close to the Earth's spiritual body. The genius from the Lin Moon Clan also had a changeable body, but it was a level higher than Sun Yuanhao's. It was comparable to the legendary Earth's spiritual body. That's right, you've contributed a lot to the clan this time. If you have any requests, you can tell me, First Elder said with a smile. Zhao Feng thought for a while before saying in a low tone, "After I've dealt with some matters, I'll go home first and then participate in the three-clan party." In the blink of an eye, he had left the Zhao clan for a while. Chapter 196. The 48th Day. This year's Floating Crest trial had come to an end. After this battle, Zhao Feng's name shook the entire clan. He wasn't a core disciple, but he had become one of the most famous inner disciples. At the same time, rumors of his arrogance, conceit, and cunning also spread like wildfire. Rumor had it that several core disciples had suffered at his hands. This storm hadn't ended yet. On the second day, First Elder announced that he had accepted Zhao Feng as his core disciple. This news once again shook the entire clan, especially the upper echelons. First Elder was without a doubt the most experienced and strongest elder in the Broken Moon clan. Now that Zhao Feng had become his official disciple, he had become the most difficult disciple to offend. Some of Zhao Feng's enemies were rather wary, hateful, and fearful of this. The second day after the trial had ended, Zhao Feng went to the clan mission division to pay back the primal crystal stones he owed from last time. He also bought the 3 Luoho arrows that came with the Luoho bow. When Old Man Zhang saw Zhao Feng, he couldn't help but sigh. Before, Old Man Zhang and Zhao Feng had a bet on whether or not Zhao Feng would be able to participate in the Floating Crest trial. But now, not only had Zhao Feng participated, he had come first and broken the 10,000-year record. After buying the Luoho arrows, Zhao Feng couldn't wait to try them out. The quality of the Luoho arrows was equivalent to a middle-grade mortal weapon. When used with the Luoho bow, it could display extreme power. So Zhao Feng lightly pulled back the bowstring and a dark green light shot through the air. It was hard to see with the naked eye. Since when did the Luoho bow have such a strong coldness? Old Man Zhang was slightly dazed. The arrow that was shot just then clearly contained a strong coldness. Xiao! The Luoho arrow that was shot out automatically returned. Yao Feng nodded his head in satisfaction and showed the changes to the Luoho bow to Old Man Zhang. On the Luoho bow, there was a blue mark of an ice lotus. Old Zhang reached out his hand to touch the bow. The body of the bow was ice cold, and there was a faint chill surrounding it. The material of the bow had also undergone an unknown change. No wonder you're the champion of the Floating Crest trial. The power of the Luoho bow right now isn't much weaker than a high-grade divine weapon. In particular, the cold attribute it contains is even rarer than some high-grade divine weapons. Old Zhang sighed. Zhao Feng, on the other hand, felt a little regretful. He had used up all the ice arrows he had obtained in the trial. Those ice arrows, when combined with the Luoho bow, had the effect of freezing. Of course, in terms of raw power, the Luoho arrows combined with the Luoho bow were the strongest. Zhao Feng estimated that if he fully used the Luoho bow, he could threaten those at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm or higher. Using the Luoho bow and Luoho arrows at the same time consumes a lot of true power. Twice as much as before. Zhao Feng frowned slightly. Everything had its pros and cons. Subsequently, Zhao Feng asked Old Zhang about the repair of the Dark Shadow Cloak. The Dark Shadow Cloak could be said to be the most valuable item on Zhao Feng's body. Its value was 10 times that of a normal spiritual-grade weapon. Normal spiritual-grade weapons had too high of a requirement for cultivation, and those at the Ascended Realm couldn't control them. On the other hand, inheritance treasures could grow with the owner, so how valuable were they? In the Floating Crest Palace, Zhao Feng had gathered most of the materials needed to repair the Yin Shadow Cloak from Li Fu Wan, but he was still missing some materials. Apart from that, there was another important requirement. You're saying that Grandmaster blacksmiths need to be at the true spirit realm? Old Zhang asked. That's right. Zhao Feng nodded his head. This is slightly troublesome, and it's not just difficult. There isn't a single Grandmaster blacksmith in the entire 13 clans. Old Zhang smiled bitterly. No? Zhao Feng was surprised he didn't think that there wouldn't be a single Grandmaster blacksmith in the 13 countries. If you really want to find one, the Iron Dragon country closest to the 13 clans has a Grandmaster Blacksmith called Yen Yi. However, Grandmaster Blacksmiths have a high status in the northern continent, and normal experts at the true spirit realm can't even invite them. Not to mention a small force like the Broken Moon clan. Old Zhang shook his head. This wasn't just a normal level of difficulty. Zhao Feng clicked his tongue. He didn't think that Grandmaster Blacksmiths were so rare and had such a high status. From what Old Zhang said, if he used the Broken Moon clan's name to invite them, they might not even bother. The 13 countries were at a disadvantage in the area and were in the middle of the Iron Dragon country and Sky Rich country. These two countries were both colossal existences, and the sects behind them possessed shocking power. Over the years, the two countries had been fighting each other, and the true victor was decided by the forces behind them. Once the Iron Dragon Strong Country or the Sky Rich Strong Country wins, they would be able to sweep through the 13 countries. That Grandmaster Yen Yi comes from the force behind the Iron Dragon Country and even has some connections with one of the 10 great clans, the Heavenly Yuan clan. The latter is the peak force of the continent, and can decide the life and death of many small clans with just a thought. Old Zhang's expression was solemn, and he obviously wanted to persuade Zhao Feng to give up on this idea. Strong countries, great clans, 10 great clans. Zhao Feng was excited. The vastness of the world of clans had exceeded his imagination. In the Azure Flower continent, the 10 great clans controlled the fate of the world. Back then, even the Scarlet Moon demonic religion was destroyed by the combined forces of the 10 great clans. Don't worry, teacher, we haven't reached that step yet. But disciple believes that as long as there's enough profit, even a Grandmaster Blacksmith will put down his pride. Zhao Feng was full of confidence. After saying goodbye to Old Zhang, Zhao Feng went to see Old Zhang. In the Broken Moon clan, his 2 teachers had taken care of him, and Zhao Feng wouldn't forget it. After coming out of the trial, Zhao Feng had obtained many precious resources, so he gave some to his 2 teachers as a way of returning the favor. Finally, Zhao Feng went to the outer disciples. The deacons and other members of the outer disciples were very respectful towards Zhao Feng. The outer disciples didn't even dare to breathe loudly when they saw Zhao Feng. In this period of time, Zhao Feng's name had spread through the lower levels of the clan. Apparently, even some core disciples had been stepped on by him. He was an arrogant young man. Zhao Feng came to see his 2 senior brothers. Brother Zhao, I didn't think you'd have such achievements. You've come first in the trial and become a disciple of First Elder. Seeing Zhao Feng, Yang Qishan and Old Zhang were extremely excited. It was obvious that they had heard of Zhao Feng's achievements and deeds. Zhao Feng smiled and said, "How are you 2 doing in the outer disciples? Have you been bullied?" "No. They wouldn't dare. Now, even the inner disciples are scared when they hear your name. Who dares to offend us?" Zhao Feng understood that his 2 senior brothers were living a good life in the outer disciples, and they had both entered the top 20. Yang Qishan was about to reach the Ascended Realm. Before leaving, Zhao Feng left some spiritual pills for his 2 senior brothers, which were enough for them to easily reach the Ascended Realm. About a day or 2 later, Zhao Feng dealt with the trivial matters one by one. Most of the compensation that the clan gave him had already been fulfilled. There were a few types of compensation. Firstly, primal crystal stones. This was the most direct. Zhao Feng had received a total of 8,000 low-grade primal crystal stones, which was equivalent to 800,000 substandard primal crystal stones. Even though it was a huge amount, it was still slightly inferior when compared to spirit artifacts and spirit cultivation techniques. Secondly, compensation for cultivation resources. The amount of resources that Zhao Feng could use was comparable to a vice head. The amount of resources that he could use each month was enough to support some disciples for a few years. Thirdly, he could freely enter the Hollow Palace and browse skills below peak class mortal. Fourthly, there were close to 10 types of compensation. One of them even gave Zhao Feng a small residence. Zhao Feng was slightly speechless. Now wasn't the time to enjoy and be high profile. he still stayed in the inner disciple's residence. For the next period of time, Zhao Feng kept a low profile and refused to see any guests. In the depths of his mind, the three-story building that represented the lightning inheritance appeared in his mind. Zhao Feng started to comprehend the first level of the lightning inheritance, even if it was just the tip of the iceberg. With such a powerful inheritance, all of Zhao Feng's other techniques became mere foils. First step. He still focused on perfecting the lightning wind palm and comparing it with the lightning inheritance. After perfecting the lightning wind palm, it was equivalent to the beginner skill of the lightning inheritance. For a few days, images of the lightning inheritance appeared in Zhao Feng's mind, from small sparks to large lightning bolts. The lightning inheritance was related to lightning and was of a higher level. With Zhao Feng's comprehension ability, he could only comprehend the tip of the iceberg. Luckily, his current goal was only to perfect and practice the thunder wind palm, using the latter as a link to the lightning inheritance. The bridge of the lightning inheritance. A few days later, Zhao Feng's lightning wind palm had reached the peak of the 4th level. It was also at the 4th level, but the power of the lightning wind palm was now twice as strong as before. The lightning inheritance is indeed the strongest inheritance of the Floating Crest Palace. Now that I've perfected it, the danger has been lowered to the minimum and its power has increased. It's much stronger than some high-class mortal skills. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. With the lightning inheritance, all other cultivation techniques below the spirit level could be set aside. At most, they could be used as support and reference. A total of 10 days later, Zhao Feng had comprehended a sliver of the lightning inheritance, and he could merge it into his movement skill. After merging the lightning inheritance, Zhao Feng's speed was as fast as lightning, and with the help of the illusion fish picture, it was extremely fast. In terms of speed, it's almost perfect. Zhao Feng was extremely satisfied. After that, Zhao Feng merged the lightning inheritance into his inner force, and his heavenly wind true force became more powerful. With the intent of lightning as the core, Zhao Feng's skill had reached its initial stage. Next, Zhao Feng started to enter secluded meditation to break through to the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm. Back in the Floating Crest trial, Zhao Feng's cultivation had reached the peak of the 3rd sky of the Ascended Realm. Such a cultivation was already above average amongst the inner disciples, and it was already extraordinary. But Zhao Feng understood that compared to the core disciples and the 3-clan party, this level of cultivation wasn't enough. Zhao Feng had trained himself in the trial, and he now controlled large amounts of rare resources such as spiritual pills, primal crystal stones. He didn't lack anything. 5 days later, Zhao Feng had broken through to the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm, and his powerful aura caused the heaven-earth yuan qi above his head to tremble. Lin Fan, Yun Mingxiang and company who were next to him were shocked. "You're indeed worthy of being Brother Zhao, you're faster than me." Lin Fan, who was also trying to break through to the 4th sky, couldn't help but shake his head with a bitter smile. Chapter 197. The 4th sky of the Ascended Realm was a dividing line. Zhao Feng felt that the connection between the heaven-earth yuan qi and his acupuncture points had become stronger. Although Zhao Feng couldn't directly absorb the heaven-earth yuan qi, when he cultivated, his true force could connect with the heaven-earth yuan qi and increase his state of existence. As his true force was refined, some elements could be merged into it. Once a cultivator reached this level, they would have stepped into the legendary Xiantian realm. Once a cultivator reaches the Ascended Realm, they're no longer a simple cultivator. They're cultivators that chase after the peak of the Tao. Zhao Feng understood. In the world of the clans, being a cultivator was just a way of cultivation. Apart from being a cultivator, there were other ways of cultivation. For example, the Blood Corpse Protector had turned himself into a zombie, which was the Tao of corpses. The hooded figure in the Sky Cloud Forest controlled beasts and deadly beasts to attack the Guanjuan city, which was also a mysterious Tao. In the world of the clans, there were many different ways of cultivation. Amongst them, the martial cultivator was the most common, but it was also the cheapest. After reaching the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm, Zhao Feng cultivated and comprehended for 2 days. On one hand, he needed to consolidate his foundation. On the other hand, he needed to organize the skills in the dimension of his left eye. Among them, there were mortal-level top-notch cultivation techniques and even spirit-level cultivation techniques. Zhao Feng read a few of these skills to broaden his horizons. But his core was still the lightning inheritance. The so-called inheritance naturally included a comprehensive set of abilities, including attack, defense, movement techniques, secret techniques, and various other applications. Therefore, Zhao Feng didn't need to train in other skills. 2 days later, Zhao Feng let out a breath and he left the courtyard. Right at this moment, he felt a slight fluctuation of energy coming from the courtyard nearby. Lin Fan also broke through? Zhao Feng looked towards a certain direction. After reaching the fourth sky of the ascended realm, the connection between cultivators and the energy of heaven and earth had increased. This was especially obvious at the moment of breaking through. Lin Fan had just broken through, and many inner sect disciples nearby came to congratulate him. This included Princess Yunmingxiang, Serene, and Xiao Sunday. Once an inner sect disciple's cultivation broke through to the fourth heaven, there was hope for them to become a true disciple and be ranked at the top among the disciples. Since Lin Fan had been in the sect for a long time, there were quite a number of disciples who came to congratulate him. Zhao Feng smiled and walked into Lin Fan's courtyard. In the hall. Congratulations, Senior Brother Lin, for breaking through to the fourth heavenly layer. I think you're not far from becoming a core disciple. Senior Brother Lin is truly a dragon among men. In the future, when you achieve meteoric success, don't forget your brothers who have gone through thick and thin with you. There were a total of 10 inner sect disciples. Their tone was respectful and they were flattering him. Within the crowd, Yunmingxiang, Xiao Sun, Su Ren and the others had complicated expressions. In the past, Yunmingxiang and Xiao Sun didn't put Lin Fan in their eyes. After all, his talent was ordinary. But who would have thought that the floating crest trial would allow him to become a top inner disciple? Lin Fan was a little helpless as he dealt with all these people who came to congratulate and suck up to him. He had just broken through to the fourth celestial layer, so he needed to consolidate his cultivation. He didn't expect these people to come to congratulate him at the same time. When Junior Brother Zhao was breaking through, why didn't you disturb his peace? Lin Fan laughed coldly in his heart. Zhao Feng had broken through 2 days earlier than him, so no one had dared to disturb him. Even the head disciple, Yang Gan, had only come to take a look before leaving. In the current inner sect, Zhao Feng was a fiendish existence. He was a man who trained the lightning wind palm and was extremely arrogant. Many core disciples had fallen to his hands. That day in the Central Division, Zhao Feng had humiliated the enforcement elder in front of everyone. Some of the inner disciples had heard about it. But unfortunately, not many people in the clan could do anything to him. The head disciple was Zhao Feng's senior brother. In the entire clan, Zhao Feng's master was the first elder, and was highly regarded by the latter. Thinking about Zhao Feng, Lin Fan felt complicated. Gratitude, respect, curiosity. Senior Brother Lin. A familiar voice sounded from outside the hall. Another visitor had come to Lin Fan's house. Some people didn't think much of it, but when they saw the figure, their hearts trembled. The newcomer was a one-eyed green-haired youth. The moment he entered the room, he gave off a strong visual impact. Yunmingxiang and Xiao Sun's expressions changed. Junior Brother Zhao! Lin Fan's face was filled with joy as he immediately stood up to greet him. Zhao Feng! Everyone's expressions changed and the atmosphere within the hall changed. These inner disciples instantly became cautious, but none of them dared to be slow as they greeted Zhao Feng with smiles. Zhao Feng's expression was calm as he nodded and greeted a few people he was familiar with. Some of the inner disciples were shocked. Although this junior brother Zhao looked fierce, his words weren't as scary as the rumors said. They all felt flattered that Zhao Feng would nod his head in response. It was said that this junior brother Zhao was extremely fierce and arrogant. He had kicked out a few core disciples that he didn't like in the trial. Junior brother Zhao was really impressive in the trial. Whoever he didn't like, he would kick them out. Ever since the Broken Moon clan was founded, I'm afraid there hasn't been a second person that has been able to break the record of the Floating Crest trial. The inner disciples immediately went up to fawn on him with respectful expressions. Some of them even hinted that they were willing to follow Zhao Feng in the future. If one had to ask who was the most difficult to offend in the Broken Moon clan, it would definitely be Zhao Feng. If they could follow Zhao Feng, wouldn't they be able to do whatever they wanted in the future? Zhao Feng had a weird expression as he shook his head. He didn't have any intentions of taking in a disciple. Junior brother Zhao, you've reached the fourth sky and your cultivation has stabilized. Are you going to challenge a core disciple? Lin Fan suddenly asked curiously. Challenge a core disciple? The expressions of some of the inner disciples tightened. Legacy disciples were the core disciples of the sect. They were different from ordinary inner sect disciples. I almost forgot about this if you didn't mention it. Zhao Feng rubbed his forehead. He suddenly remembered that he had promised First Elder that he would enter the top 5 of the core disciples and participate in the 3-clan party. Only by entering the top 5 would First Elder be able to nominate Zhao Feng to participate in the 3-clan party. This was the lowest requirement. After all, the 3-clan party represented the entire Broken Moon clan. Hearing that Zhao Feng was really going to challenge a core disciple, some of the inner disciples present became excited. During this period of time, the ranking of the true disciples had fluctuated several times. The main reason was because of the Floating Crest trial. This time's Floating Crest trial was not normal. All the disciples that came out of the trial had a huge increase in strength. Yang Gan, Bai Moi, Quan Qin and Ran Xiaoyuan had toppled the core disciple rankings half a month ago. Yang Gan had become the head disciple. Bai Moi had become the second core disciple. Quan Qin and Ran Xiaoyuan had become the 5th and 6th respectively. A few days ago, he had broken through to the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm and became the 10th core disciple. The entire inner clan was shaken by the disciples that came out of seclusion. Hearing this news, Zhao Feng couldn't help but click his tongue. He didn't realize that he was the butterfly that was flapping its wings. If it wasn't for him, there wouldn't have been a 100% success rate in the 2nd stage. If it wasn't for him, the entire Sky Boundary Island wouldn't have turned into a world of ice and snow. That's right, there hasn't been such intense competition in the past few decades. Lin Fan sighed. By now, most of the disciples had come out of seclusion, and most of them had fought. Logically speaking, the ranking of the direct disciples should be stabilizing soon. But many disciples realized that the core disciple rankings were far from stabilizing. This was because there was still a mad person who hadn't fought yet. That person was Zhao Feng. The first place of this time's trial and the one who had broken the record, Zhao Feng, hadn't fought yet. And now, he was standing in front of them and challenging a core disciple couldn't be delayed. It was because of this that some of the inner disciples present were excited and impatient. If Zhao Feng fought, would the core disciple rankings change once again? But there were some who didn't care. They thought that Zhao Feng had come first because of luck. Furthermore, he didn't receive any inheritance in the trial, so he was much weaker than the older core disciples. Brother Zhao! A masculine voice came from outside the courtyard. A powerful aura pressed down on him. All the inner disciples felt as if they were suffocating. When they saw who it was, they were shocked. Yang Gan! Being the head disciple, Yang Gan was undoubtedly the leader of the new generation and the number 1 inner disciple. The arrival of the head disciple and first elder's disciple made everyone feel flattered. However, no one would think that Yang Gan had come here because of them. Even he didn't have the right to do so. Brother Yang. Zhao Feng walked out of the hall. Brother Zhao, Master told me to tell you to get into the top 5 core disciples as soon as possible, Yang Gan said. Under normal circumstances, Yang Gan rarely went to look for Zhao Feng. Both of them were disciples of the Great Elder, but their relationship could only be said to be ordinary, either good nor bad. Yang Gan was a perfectionist, and even if he disliked Zhao Feng, He wouldn't just stand by and do nothing if Zhao Feng was being bullied outside. However, this junior brother's performance had exceeded his expectations time and time again. Especially in the Floating Crest trial, junior brother Yang had come first, which made him feel uncomfortable and even jealous. "Brother Yang, please tell Master that I've already reached the top 5 core disciples and that he doesn't need to worry." Zhao Feng smiled and said. He understood that his master was definitely preparing to nominate him for the 3-sect party and had the intention of rushing him. However, he had actually forgotten about this matter in the past few days. Hearing this, Yang Gan's eyebrows furrowed. Where did Brother Zhao get his confidence and arrogance from? He hasn't even done anything yet, and he wants me to tell him that he's already succeeded. Isn't this the same as lying to Master? No! I must tell Master that Brother Zhao is too arrogant and needs to be taught a lesson. Don't worry, I'll tell Master what you said. Yang Gan smiled mischievously and turned to leave. Chapter 198. Broken Moon Clan. Amidst the clouds, in a garden filled with the fragrance of flowers. Ha! Hua! An old-fashioned youth and 2 youths were fighting. For a moment, a strong gust of wind blew in all directions. Waves of light collided and shattered in the void. The shockwaves they emitted were enough to shatter gold and iron. The old-fashioned youth was actually fighting 1 against 2. A layer of dark blue ripples surrounded his body, and with every move he made, waves of dark blue ripples would arrive in an instant. The terrifying pressure was enough to make a normal ascended realm spit out blood. The Dark Water Inheritance is indeed worthy of being one of the strongest inheritances of the Floating Crest Palace. Hai-Yun Master sat cross-legged on a nearby stone stand with approval. The old-fashioned youth was Bei Moi and the other 2 youths were Quan Chen and Yuan Ji, both disciples of Hai-Yun Master. Quan Chen, peak 4th sky of the Ascended Realm, ranked 5th amongst the core disciples and Hai-Yun Master's 3rd disciple. Yuan Ji, ranked 3rd amongst the core disciples and Hai-Yun Master's 2nd disciple. And at this moment, Quan Chen and Yuan Ji teamed up but couldn't beat the youngest Bei Moi. Bei Moi's cultivation had reached the limit of the 4th sky and his aura was perfect. He was able to fight his 2 senior brothers with ease. Quan Chen and Yuan Ji were both stunned. Ever since the Floating Crest trial, Bei Moi's strength hadn't just increased by 1 level. The combined attack of the 2 was enough to shatter normal cultivators at the 4th sky, but it couldn't even break through Bei Moi's defense. It was as if there was a bottomless whirlpool around Bei Moi and all their attacks were like stones sinking into the ocean. Dark Water Mountain Opening! Bei Moi's hands waved and the dark blue ripple increased in size and pushed the 2 brothers back several yards. Yuan Ji floated back tens of steps before landing on the ground. Quan Chen was sent flying and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Thanks. The combined strength of the 5th and 3rd core disciples wasn't enough to beat Bei Moi. Not bad, not bad. Moi, you've improved a lot and in 2 years, no one in the Broken Moon clan will be able to fight against you. Hai-Yun Master praised. Yuan Ji and Quan Chen stood on the side with shock. Quan Chen's heart was filled with hatred and helplessness. The reason why Bei Moi had become so strong was because he had obtained an inheritance in the trial. Every time he thought of this, he would hate Zhao Feng. If it wasn't for this guy, he might have been able to obtain the inheritance. Amor, don't just limit your vision to our sect. The 3-sect party half a month from now will be the time for you to show off your skills. At that time, you have to make me proud. Hai-Yun Master smiled. 3-sect party? Quan Chen and Yuan Ji looked at each other uneasily. With Bei Moi's strength, it wouldn't be a problem for him to participate in the 3-sect party. At this moment. This is bad, Elder. Someone is causing trouble in the outer sect. A servant hurried in. Quan Chen scolded. Who dares to cause trouble in the Elder's residence? It's the first Elder's disciple, Zhao Feng. He led a group of people to search for senior brother Quan, and finally found this place. The servant panicked. Yuan Ji laughed. Senior brother Quan, so that Zhao Feng is here to cause trouble for you. No matter how arrogant Zhao Feng was, he was still a disciple. How would he dare to cause trouble for the elder? This guy must be trying to challenge my core disciple position. Quan Chen's expression was cold, but he was a little scared. He was wary of Zhao Feng's strength. What's going on? Haiyun Master said. I heard that Zhao Feng just came out of seclusion and wanted to challenge a core disciple. He first went to find senior brother Quan, but he wasn't home. Then he went to find senior brother Yuanji, but he didn't find him either. Then he went to find junior brother Bei. Okay. I understand now. In the end, he came to this elder. Haiyun Master said. Elder. Elder is wise, the servant said with a trembling voice. At this moment, the atmosphere in the garden became extremely tense. The expressions of Yuan Qi and his two brothers were extremely ugly. It seemed like Zhao Feng was purposely challenging Haiyun Master's disciples. Did he really think that Haiyun Master and his disciples were pushovers? Preposterous! Quan Chen's face was filled with anger, but he was overjoyed in his heart. If it was just him alone, he probably wouldn't be able to take care of this person. But now, the three of them were together. Humph! Zhao Feng, you're unlucky today. The three of you can leave. Don't embarrass me. Haiyun Master waved his hand. Although he was disgusted by Zhao Feng picking on his disciple, as an expert at the true spirit realm, he obviously wouldn't lower himself to interfere in the matters of the younger generation. Furthermore, First Elder stood behind Zhao Feng. Whether it was him or the Great Elder, they would not easily interfere in the competition between the disciples. Go! Get out! The three of them walked out of the elder's residence in anger. Yuanji felt weird as he realized that the hatred his two brothers had for Zhao Feng wasn't just a little strong. There was indeed a group of people outside the residence. The one leading them was Zhao Feng. So, you're all hiding here? Zhao Feng said in surprise. After coming out of seclusion, he wanted to challenge the core disciples, so he would obviously target Haiyun Master's disciples first. But the weird thing was that Quan Chen wasn't home, Yuanji wasn't home, and Bei Moi wasn't home either. After asking around, he found out that the three of them were hiding in Haiyun Master's residence. What do you mean hiding? Quan Chen and the others were completely disgusted and furious. The few of them had been called over by their master to discuss and learn from each other. Those who didn't know the truth would think that they were scared of Zhao Feng and were hiding. Fight! Zhao Feng threw out a word before turning around and heading towards the stage. He wasn't worried that his opponents wouldn't come. Since they were already in front of the elder's residence, there was no way they wouldn't come. A while later. Central Division, stage. This was a place specially made for inner disciples to spar. Zhao Feng's figure jumped and landed on the stage. On the challenge stage, there were two inner disciples who were fighting fiercely. The two saw the azure-haired one-eyed youth and his aura at the fourth sky of the ascended realm, which scared them so much that they left the stage. Soon, another few auras at the fourth sky of the ascended realm and above landed on the stage. Quan Chen and the other two looked at each other, as if discussing who should go first. Among them, Quan Chen didn't dare to challenge first. How about this, the three of you come together? Zhao Feng said with a mischievous expression. Shut up. Don't be arrogant. Bei Moi and Quan Chen roared at the same time. Of course. Zhao Feng didn't really want to fight one against three. He wasn't that arrogant. Even if he was willing, Bei Moi and the other two wouldn't agree. Junior brother Quan, you go first and test his strength. Yuanji said in a low voice. Okay. Even if Quan Chen wasn't willing, he had to agree. On the stage, Zhao Feng and Quan Chen faced each other from afar. Many inner disciples had arrived after hearing the news. The two stared at each other with complicated expressions. This was especially so for Quan Chen. Back then when he went to the Guanjuan Palace, he was so arrogant. At that time, he didn't even look at Zhao Feng and he didn't even have an impression of him. But now, on the stage, Quan Chen's scalp went numb and he felt an inexplicable sense of wariness and fear. It wasn't as if Zhao Feng and Quan Chen hadn't fought before in the Floating Crest trial. At that time, Quan Chen didn't gain any advantage at all and was even tricked by the opponent. Shizhe, Brother Quan, do you want me to let you have a few moves first? Zhao Feng's eyes were sharp and he could see the fear in Quan Chen's eyes. There was no true battle intent. Piss off. Don't try to argue with me. Quan Chen roared and he infused his true force into his sword, sending a few chilling moonlight slashes towards Zhao Feng. A few marks appeared on the hard black rock of the stage. This was a rock from the clan world and it was even harder than low-grade mortal weapons. What a powerful attack! The disciples below the stage clicked their tongues. The weapon in Quan Chen's hand was a middle-grade mortal weapon and his cultivation technique was powerful enough. He didn't use his weapon when he fought against Bei Moi in the Elder's Palace. Believe it or not, I can defeat you with just the sharpness of the tongue. Zhao Feng laughed lightly. Shua! His figure flashed like lightning and he instantly dodged the attack. Don't be arrogant. Why don't you attack me if you have the ability? Quan Chen roared as his attack landed. Fine, I'll show you. Zhao Feng placed his hands behind his back and he took a deep breath. Bo! He opened his mouth and an invisible mental energy sound wave shot towards Quan Chen. Wherever the sound wave passed, it was like thunder. Boom! Quan Chen's body swayed as if he was struck by lightning, and his blood boiled. That attack just then almost made him puke out blood. Zhao Feng's mental energy sound wave was a mental energy attack added to the vibration of the sound wave. One pierced the soul while the other attacked the blood and flesh of the physical body. After receiving the lightning inheritance, all of Zhao Feng's skills used it as the core. Even the psychic sound wave technique was like muffled thunder, its power far greater than before. Furthermore, Quan Chen wasn't someone with a strong mind. He was much weaker than Bei Moi and Lin Fan. Therefore, the first wave of sound waves almost made Quan Chen puke out blood and his body staggered a little. Bo! Bo! Zhao Feng spat out another 2 mental energy sound waves. Wah! Quan Chen puked out a mouthful of blood and his face turned white. The mental aspect had always been his weakness. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's mental energy sound wave attack was much stronger than when he was in the trial. After merging with the lightning inheritance, it was like adding wings to a tiger. How is this possible? Brother Zhao didn't even do anything. He only moved his mouth and made Brother Quan Chen puke out blood. The crowd was shocked speechless. Brother Quan, use your true force to protect your eardrums and weak spots. Yuan Ji reminded. He could see that Zhao Feng's mental energy sound wave attack used sound as a medium. If one's will isn't strong enough, even if they use their true force to protect themselves, they can only reduce the damage by 10 to 20%. Zhao Feng said casually. The mental energy sound wave attack was hard to defend against. It made one panic and lose control of their mind. Under this situation, how could one defend with all their strength? If it was someone with a strong will and cultivation, then the damage of Zhao Feng's mental energy sound wave attack would be reduced by at least half. But Quan Chen wasn't like that. In the depths of his heart, he feared Zhao Feng. Bo! 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 Zhao Feng spat out another sound wave attack. Plop! Quan Chen's nose and ears bled as he fainted. Too weak. Zhao Feng shook his head, but thinking about it, he did indeed have great talent in mental energy. Even the Floating Crest Palace didn't have an inheritance that was suitable for him. The lightning inheritance was just the second best. Chapter 199. Brother Quan! Seeing Zhao Feng move his mouth and Quan Chen fall to the ground with a plop, the crowd went into an uproar. Many people took in a cold breath. At this moment, not only did Zhao Feng give them strength, he also gave them an unfathomable feeling. Too scary! He beat Brother Quan with just his mouth. How is this possible? Senior Brother Quan is ranked 5th among the true disciples. The inner disciples were shocked, but at the same time, they also had doubts. Some people even suspected that this was a play that had been put on in advance. This is Brother Zhao's strength. Lin Fan's heart shook. Yun Mingxiang, Xiao Sun and company were dazed as if they were in a dream. Back then, everyone had entered the Broken Moon clan together, but in just half a year, Lin Fan had grown to such a level. Princess Yun Mingxiang was filled with regret. Ever since Zhao Feng had chosen the path of martial arts and the lightning wind palm, she had given up on Zhao Feng's potential. But who would have thought that in just a few months, Lin Fan would become First Elder's disciple and break the record? After beating Quan Chen, Zhao Feng was ranked 5th. This had already reached his goal. But today, Quan Chen and his 2 brothers were together, so there was no way this would end peacefully. Next, Zhao Feng's voice sounded as he made up his mind. At this moment, Yuan Ji had already helped Quan Chen off the stage. Under the guidance of his true force, the latter woke up and was fine. Let me. Bei Moi was about to attack. Let me go first. Yuan Ji stopped Bei Moi. He thought that Zhao Feng's strength was at least on the same level as Bei Moi, and he was even weirder. It would be best if he went first to test Zhao Feng's strength. His plan did not care about personal honor or disgrace, victory or defeat, but was aimed at the overall situation. Bei Moi was the strongest, so he had a higher chance of winning if he stayed until the end. On the stage, Zhao Feng and Yuan Ji faced each other. Yuan Ji's cultivation had reached the 5th sky, and he was stronger than Quan Chen in both strength and intelligence. He didn't attack rashly after going up. Pop! Zhao Feng opened his mouth, and a psychic sound beam shot toward Yuan Ji. Yuan Ji sneered, his true power protecting his body, especially targeting his eardrums. At the same time, his mind was firm and shrewd, not something Quan Chen could compare to. In addition, his cultivation level was higher than Zhao Feng's, so when the psychic sound wave hit him, the damage was reduced by 70% to 80%. Zhao Feng was not surprised. He was just testing the waters. His greatest potential treasure was the spiritual domain, but after all, he had not obtained the corresponding inheritance and cultivation technique. Wandering heaven steps. Yuan Ji's figure moved. His speed seemed slow, but it contained an intent of slowing down. Whoosh! Zhao Feng moved like a bolt of lightning. He was obviously faster than Yuan Ji, but Yuan Ji reacted slowly and was not afraid. Thunder Wind Palm. Zhao Feng wasted no time and executed his strongest cultivation technique. The force of his palms swept out with a howl of wind and thunder. Arcs of lightning revolved around the tornado. Boom! The two collided head-on. Yuan Ji's body froze and his expression changed as he retreated a few steps. The moment he clashed with Zhao Feng, his body felt numb, as if he had been struck by lightning. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's Thunder Wind Palm's power was beyond his imagination. Every time he took a hit, Yuan Ji's body would go numb and the power of the palm made his blood boil. If it was Quan Chen, he probably wouldn't even be able to take 1 or 2 hits. Below the stage, Bei Moi's face was solemn. Zhao Feng's strength was much stronger than he had imagined. Thunder Wind Raging Dragon. The instant Zhao Feng's palm shot out, the azure wind and lightning intertwined to form a lightning dragon. In that instant, the wind and thunder rumbled as the palm destroyed everything in its path. Yuan Ji's body went numb, and he couldn't dodge it. His breathing became heavy and he could only use all his strength to block it. Vibration Yuan Wave. The true power in Yuan Ji's palm congealed into a ball of light, exploding and producing a vibrating wave of light, intertwining with the terrifying Thunder Dragon tornado. Boom! The moment they clashed, the two's figures were enveloped by the wind and they couldn't be seen clearly. But one of the figures didn't move. His azure hair blew in the wind and he was as cold as a demon. The other figure retreated. How can he be so strong? This power is enough to kill normal cultivators at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm. Yuan Ji's body was charred and cracked. Shwa! Suddenly, a lightning-like figure appeared in front of Yuan Ji under the cover of the wind and thunder. What kind of footwork was that? How could he be so fast? Yuan Ji's heart shook and he wanted to dodge, but it was too late, and he was sent flying by Zhao Feng's palm. Wah! Yuanji spat out a mouthful of blood in midair, and he flew off the stage. In less than 10 moves, Yuanji, who was at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm, was defeated. The spectators weren't just disciples, there were also other members of the clan. Next, Zhao Feng took a deep breath. Apart from his bloodline power and his left eye, he had used over 90% of his strength to defeat Yuanji. After defeating Yuanji, Zhao Feng was ranked 3rd amongst the core disciples. What terrifying strength! Even I'm tempted by the power of the lightning wind palm. Is this Zhao Feng going to defeat all of Haiyun Master's disciples? Below the stage, the crowd discussed animatedly. Amongst the spectators was Vice Headley of the Central Division. Vice Head, why is the power of the lightning wind palm so strong? A deacon was puzzled. This lightning wind palm has obviously been perfected, and the profound lightning contained within it is even purer. No wonder First Elder was willing to take Zhao Feng as his core disciple. Light twinkled in Vice Headley's eyes. No wonder! If it wasn't for this reason, First Elder wouldn't have taken another disciple who trained in the lightning wind palm. The deacon understood. To be able to perfect the lightning wind palm, this Zhao Feng's comprehension isn't ordinary. Could this be related to the trial? Vice Headley murmured to himself. At this moment, only Zhao Feng was left on the stage. You rest first, we'll have a fair battle, Beimois said with a stiff expression. He could tell that Zhao Feng had used up quite a bit of energy to defeat Yuanji and the other two. Zhao Feng knew that Beimois wanted to have a fair battle with him and didn't want to take advantage of him. Such a scene shocked the nearby spectators. Beimois' confidence made them look forward to the next battle. A moment later, Zhao Feng recovered his energy and said, All right, Beimois. We've agreed on this battle before we joined the sect. That's right. We've agreed on this battle a long time ago, and you're stronger than expected. You're definitely qualified to be my opponent. Beimois went up the stage. Hearing this, the crowd went into an uproar. Those who didn't know what was going on were confused. What's the relationship between Beimois and Zhao Feng? Only Yuanji and Quan Chen knew what was going on. At the same time, on a tall building at the peak of the mountain, Serene, how are you able to have 2 geniuses under your sect? Haiyun Master murmured. On the stage, Zhao Feng and Beimois stared at each other with solemn expressions. Neither of them had any thoughts of underestimating the other. Beimois' figure flashed, and a series of ripples appeared on the stage. In that instant, his real body merged with the ripples, and it was hard to tell which was the real one. Without using his left eye, Zhao Feng couldn't tell which one was the real one. What a profound movement skill! Zhao Feng was impressed. Beimois was indeed worthy of being a super genius that had received an inheritance from the trial. Illusion Fish Shadowless Step. Zhao Feng's figure flashed, and a series of illusions appeared to confuse the opponent's senses. In an instant, a series of afterimages overlapped on the stage, dazzling the audience's eyes. Illusion Fish Shadowless Step was a movement skill that Zhao Feng had created with the Illusion Fish picture as the core and many other movement skills. In reality, this movement skill was only the beginner version. The advanced version was called Illusion Fish Lightning Arc Step. However, Zhao Feng's understanding of the lightning inheritance wasn't enough, and the Illusion Fish Lightning Arc Step hadn't been perfected yet. He had only used it a little when he defeated Yuanji. Chapter 200. When the battle ended, Zhao Feng couldn't even walk. His muscles were numb, and his true force was empty. Attacking consumes more energy than defending. Furthermore, Beimois' cultivation has reached the peak of the 4th sky, and his true force is thicker than mine. Zhao Feng's expression was solemn. This battle was definitely the most intense one he had ever fought in the Broken Moon clan. In the past battles, no one had been able to fight him to a draw. No wonder he's Beimois, the strongest genius of the Broken Moon clan. Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. If this continued, his true force would be used up and he could only admit defeat. Of course. From the beginning to the end, Zhao Feng didn't use his bloodline power, and his usage of the lightning inheritance was also very subtle. If he used his bloodline power, the result would be obvious. However, Zhao Feng didn't do that. He would rather lose. A draw was the plan that Zhao Feng had thought of, and it could be considered a low-key choice. But he didn't expect Bai Moi to be even more terrifying than he had imagined. The slightest mistake could cause him to lose. Zhao Feng! Vice Headley smiled faintly and walked over. His eyes were sharp and he could see that Zhao Feng had used up all his true force. Vice Headley! Zhao Feng smiled and greeted. This vice head had a good relationship with Old Man Zhang and Old Man Guan, and he had taken care of him when he first entered the inner clan. Martial Nephew Zhao, your lightning wind palm seems to have been improved? Vice Headley asked curiously. In Zhao Feng's hands, the lightning wind palm was obviously more refined and powerful than the original skill. That's right. After I improved the lightning wind palm, there's no danger before the 6th level. Zhao Feng didn't try to hide it. This means that there's still danger after training it to the highest level? Vice Headley was slightly disappointed. At his level, only if the lightning wind palm was trained to the highest level, the 6th level, would he truly be moved. Zhao Feng said. After all, at the highest realm, there's a chance to summon lightning from the 9 heavens, which can instantly kill anyone below the true spirit realm. Even those at the true spirit realm have to avoid it. With such great power, it's impossible for there to be no side effects. Vice Hall Masterly nodded upon hearing this. It was impossible to avoid such a perverted power. The biggest attraction of the lightning wind palm was this. Even those at half-step true spirit realm would be moved. Actually, there was one more point that Zhao Feng didn't mention. The lightning wind palm had been perfected by him, and on top of the 6th level, he had added a 7th level. The perfected 6th level couldn't summon the lightning of the 9 heavens, but it could communicate with the lightning energy in the world, causing its might to skyrocket. Although its power could not be compared to real lightning, the risk was minimized. Furthermore, the 7th level of the lightning wind palm involved the usage of the lightning intent. Once successful, one would be able to control the power of lightning, and fighting against those at the true spirit realm would no longer be a dream. However, up until now, Zhao Feng's 7th level was still in the process of being perfected, and he had only created a model. That's right, Vice Hall Masterly, there's something else I need your help with. Zhao Feng suddenly thought of something. What is it, Martial Nephew Zhao? Vice Hall Masterly was very courteous and brought Zhao Feng into the central hall for a detailed discussion. Normal disciples wouldn't receive such treatment. There's 2 main things. The first is that I want to give out a clan mission. Zhao Feng took out a pen and paper and wrote down some materials. These materials were the missing parts of the Yin Shadow Cloak. Although Zhao Feng could go find the materials himself, he had a lot of money, and he could find someone else to do it for him. Many of the upper echelons of the sects would issue missions or send disciples to run errands if they wanted to find materials or items. Zhao Feng chose the method of giving out missions. Vice Hall Masterly picked up the list and glanced over it before saying emotionally, "The value of these materials isn't small. I know, it's estimated to be a few 100,000 substandard primal crystal stones." Zhao Feng didn't mind. The clan compensated him with 8,000 low-grade primal crystal stones, which was equivalent to 800,000 substandard primal crystal stones. In the lower echelons of the clan, the main currency was substandard primal crystal stones. Only some high-class places would use low-grade primal crystal stones, which were equivalent to hundreds of substandard primal crystal stones. Alright, since you don't lack primal crystal stones, I can give out this mission for you. Vice Hall Masterly was very straightforward. To give out missions, Zhao Feng had to spend some primal crystal stones and contribution points. This was the commission for completing the mission, and no one was willing to do it for free. Next. The second thing Zhao Feng mentioned was that he had to make a trip home. Half a month? Vice Hall Masterly frowned. This was a bit long. Most sects were stricter with their disciples. It was good enough for normal disciples to take a few days off. Half a month was a bit long. This disciple is thinking of taking a normal mission near Guangzhou Province City and making a trip home. Zhao Feng had already thought about it. Taking half a month off was indeed a bit long. But if he went out in the name of taking a mission, the time limit would be different. Guangzhou Province City? There's a mission nearby, but it's a high-level one, reaching level 5. Vice Hall Masterly said. Level 5 missions usually required cultivators at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm to take part. Zhao Feng looked at the details of the mission. It was to go to the depths of the Sky Cloud Forest and find traces of a clan from outside the country. Outside the country meant that they weren't from this country. If this range was expanded, it might not even be from the 13 clans. After all, the continent was too big and there were tens of thousands of clans in the northern continent alone. Who knew where this clan came from? Mission requirement: find out where this clan came from and assess their battle strength. It would be best if you could find out their intentions. No problem. Gathering information is my forte. Zhao Feng confidently accepted the mission. With his left eye, he was a natural-born scout. Furthermore, Zhao Feng had obtained an inheritance treasure, the Yin Shadow Cloak. The Yin Shadow Cloak could hide one's aura and even make them invisible, making it suitable for gathering information. After accepting the mission, Zhao Feng said goodbye to Vice Hall Masterly and went to the Elder's residence to find First Elder. First Elder and Yang Gon were both there. Amongst them, Yang Gon had reported Zhao Feng to First Elder not long ago. Zhao Feng, have you completed the mission I gave you? The Great Elder said with a smile. I've completed it. Zhao Feng then told the story of how he challenged the core disciples. Hearing this, Yang Gon's expression changed. He didn't think that Zhao Feng would have already challenged 3 core disciples in such a short amount of time, and almost defeated all of Hai Yun Master's disciples. Zhao Feng, do you have enmity with Hai Yun Master? First Elder was slightly surprised. Master, there's a bit of enmity between us. Zhao Feng then told him about Lord Guanjuan and Su Ran. This wasn't a big secret. Zhao Feng had wanted to tell First Elder long ago so that he could protect Lord Guanjuan, who was outside the clan. I see, I've also heard about this back then. At that time, Hai Yun Master was young and arrogant, offending many people. But I hope that you can put the overall situation of the sect above all else. Don't let the hatred and conflict worsen, First Elder said solemnly. Don't worry, Master, I'm not here for revenge. Disciple only has one goal, and that is to surpass Hai Yun Master and take revenge for Master Su Ran. That's all. Zhao Feng directly said his goal. First Elder said deeply. If that's all, I won't object. He was happy that this disciple of his was someone who cared about others, and he admired this. If Zhao Feng could really reach that step, he would be overjoyed. Disciple is worried that Hai Yun Master won't let Disciple grow, and it might affect Master Su Ran and the others. Zhao Feng said his worries. Don't worry, with me here, Hai Yun Master won't dare to do anything to you or the people around you. This is a taboo of the clan. A light flashed in First Elder's eyes. But I can't interfere in the competition between the younger generation, First Elder added. Zhao Feng nodded his head. This was a matter of principle. Elders wouldn't interfere in the matters of the younger generation. Just like today, Zhao Feng had challenged 3 of Hai Yun Master's disciples and almost swept all of them. But Hai Yun Master wouldn't interfere, he would just laugh. With First Elder's guarantee, Hai Yun Master couldn't do anything to Zhao Feng or the people around him. This way, Zhao Feng wouldn't have anything to worry about anymore. Hai Yun Master's goal is to use Bei Moi to control me. But he doesn't know that Bei Moi isn't my match in terms of strength. Zhao Feng thought in his heart. The reason why he didn't defeat Bei Moi was because he wanted to use Bei Moi as a whetstone for him. While Zhao Feng was growing, Bei Moi was also growing rapidly. Furthermore, both of them had the inheritance of the Floating Crest Palace. How could he not use such a good whetstone to achieve Hai Yun Master's goal of balance? Before leaving, First Elder reminded, you need to come back in time for the 3-clan party in half a month. Now that Zhao Feng had entered the top 3, there was no more suspense in the 3-clan party with Bei Moi. After saying goodbye to First Elder, Zhao Feng returned to his place and put some items into his interspatial bracelet. The second day, Zhao Feng left the Broken Moon clan by himself. When he left, he found that Yang Qishan and Nan Gongfan had both broken through to the Ascended Realm and reported to the Central Division that they were about to become inner disciples. Zhao Feng nodded his head in his heart. Becoming an inner disciple meant that the clan would focus on nurturing them. On the day that Zhao Feng left, the upper echelon of the Broken Moon clan, the clan master, and several elders gathered together. The Lin Moon clan has sent another invitation. Each clan only has 3 spots for this 3-clan party. The Broken Moon clan master said with furrowed eyebrows. In the past, there were 4 to 5. Why are there so few this year? Haiyun master was slightly surprised. Apparently, the geniuses of the Lin Moon clan and Silver Moon clan are extremely strong this time. 1 person from each of the 2 great sects obtained the inheritance during the trial. The Broken Moon clan master continued. The expressions of the elders became solemn. They didn't think that both the Lin Moon clan and Silver Moon clan would receive an inheritance. In the past, only 1 or 2 disciples would receive an inheritance every 100 years, and the inheritance wasn't necessarily strong. But this time, each of the 3 sects had a disciple who had obtained the legacy. The competition was not just ordinary. Chapter 201. Sun Feather City. As the sun set, some families in the city had already lit up their oil lamps. At this time, many sellers had packed up and left the city. At the city gate, a green-haired, evil-looking youth walked into the city with a dark gray cloak fluttering in the wind. If it was daytime, the young man's outfit would definitely attract attention. But now that it was night, the young man's figure seemed to be a bit dim. Sun Feather City hasn't changed much in the past year, Zhao Feng murmured. Not many people in Sun Feather City recognized him. Compared to a year ago, Zhao Feng's figure was even taller. Whether it was his clothes or his demeanor, he was like a completely different person. As he got closer to the Zhao clan's territory, the number of people increased. Why are there so many people in front of the Zhao clan's gate? Zhao Feng had a strange expression on his face. Normally, as one of the 3 major families in Sun Feather City, the Zhao clan's gate was very quiet. Most of the people were young men. This year's Genius Summit doesn't seem to be as good as the last one. Xian Wuheng and Zhao Feng, the 2 top geniuses, have left Sun Feather City. Those 2 are legendary figures. This year's Genius Summit was started by the top genius of the Zhao family, Zhao Linlong. I'm afraid that no one in the younger generation of Sun Feather City can compete with Zhao Linlong. That's hard to say. The young genius of the Xian family, Xian Fei, has been improving day by day. He might not be any weaker than Zhao Linlong. There were many people at the gate of the Zhao clan because of this year's Genius Summit. However, only a small number of people were able to enter the Zhao clan to watch the Genius Summit. Some of them wanted to sneak into the Zhao clan to watch the Genius Summit. However, most of them failed. But there were also a few people who were good at movement techniques that managed to sneak in. After all, the Zhao clan wasn't a restricted area of the Imperial Palace. Genius Summit? Zhao Feng calculated the time. The Genius Summit of Sun Feather City was held once a year, and it was around this time. Furthermore, the host of the Genius Summit would rotate among the 3 major clans. The performance of the Zhao clan's geniuses in the last Genius Summit was incomparably dazzling. Zhao Feng, Zhao Linlong, and Zhao Yufei were among the top 3 geniuses. Back mountain of the Zhao clan. In front of a brightly lit man-made lake, there were several pavilions and spectator stands. At this moment, the 2 youths stood together on the shore, their saber winds crisscrossing. From time to time, shouts could be heard from the nearby pavilions and spectator stands. Those who could participate in the Genius Summit were at least at the 4th stage of the martial path, and their battle would cause quite a commotion. There were also a few elders from the 3 major clans who had reached the 7th stage of the martial path. In the pavilion at the front sat several geniuses from the Zhao clan. Zhao Linlong, Zhao Feng, Zhao Qin, and Zhao Han were all there. Brother Linlong, I'm afraid no one can compete with you in this genius summit, Zhao Qin said with a smile. Xian Fei from the Xian family and Qiu Mingyu from the Qiu family are both much stronger than before. Especially Xian Fei, although he hasn't reached the 6th rank of the martial path, his battle strength is quite strong. Zhao Linlong sat in the middle, looking much more mature than before. After the tempering of the previous Genius Summit, Zhao Linlong's personality had become more mature. He was the organizer of this year's Genius Summit. He didn't underestimate any of the battles on the stage. After some of the sparring ended, he would even give a comment or two, and each comment would hit the nail on the head, causing the crowd to admire him. As time passed, the Genius Summit became more and more exciting. Towards the end, the two geniuses of the previous Genius Summit, Zhao Linlong and Qiu Mingyu, appeared. When the geniuses of the previous Genius Summit made their moves, the ordinary geniuses all retreated. But there was one exception, the scarred youth from the Xian family, Xian Fei. Xian Fei's blade skills were sharp and had a unique style. He had even trained a high-rank blade skill to the max level. There was basically no one who could last more than 3 moves against him. Why do I feel like this Genius Summit is a little boring? Zhao Qi, Zhao Qin and the others looked at each other. There were 5 geniuses of the previous Genius Summit, but 3 of them left. This Genius Summit is destined to be incomparable to the previous one. Zhao Qin sighed. Everyone who had participated in the previous Genius Summit had the same feeling. Not only were there very few geniuses at this Genius Summit, there weren't many twists and turns. Thinking back to the previous Genius Summit, there were so many twists and turns. Only Zhao Linlong, Qiu Mingyu and Xian Fei were able to stand out this time. Amongst them, the older geniuses, Zhao Linlong and Qiu Mingyu, were ranked last in the previous Genius Summit. Finally, the Genius Summit reached its climax. Zhao Linlong, Qiu Mingyu and Xian Fei began to compete for the top spots. Only these 3 had the right to be listed as one of the Genius Summit. The others weren't on the same level. Qiu Mingyu and Xian Fei first exchanged blows. The former was the top beauty of Sun Feather City, and her cultivation had recently reached the 6th rank of the martial path. Xian Fei's cultivation had reached the peak 5th rank of the martial path, and his battle strength was shocking. Every slash was unique, as if it had been polished by time. This Xian Fei seems to have been influenced by Xian Wuheng. There's something unique about his blade skills. Zhao Qi furrowed his eyebrows as he fell into deep thought. At his current level, he couldn't even touch the level of intent. Intent was one of the most important factors in reaching the holy martial path and learning holy martial arts. Back then, Xian Wuheng and Zhao Feng both had such things on them. Cloud Slash! Xian Fei shouted, the energy of the blade faintly pulsated. Like a rainbow blade, it cut through the clouds. Puchi! Qiu Mingyu's inner force protection shattered and a strand of her hair was cut off. It was obvious that Xian Fei hadn't used his full strength yet. No one had thought that Xian Fei would be able to beat Qiu Mingyu so quickly. Next, it was time for the final battle, the clash between Xian Fei and Zhao Linlong. The battle between the two was intense, and the two figures intertwined. In the end, the two landed on the surface of the lake and continued to exchange blows. The crowd was speechless as they watched. Meow meow! A weird cat's cry came from the Zhao clan's pavilion. Zhao Qi and the others, who had been paying full attention to the situation, turned around and their expressions changed. Who was it? At some unknown time, a one-eyed youth with blue hair had appeared in the Zhao family's pavilion. On his shoulders sat a palm-sized gray cat. The young man had appeared behind them without a sound. If it wasn't for the cat, they wouldn't have noticed him at all. Zhao Qin, it's only been a year and you don't recognize me? The azure-haired young man chuckled. You're Zhao Feng! Zhao Qi and the others were shocked as they finally recognized the young man. Zhao Feng! He's Zhao Feng? The commotion in the Zhao clan's pavilion alerted the spectators nearby. Soon, more and more people recognized the green-haired, one-eyed, evil-looking youth. How did Zhao Feng become like this? He's blind in one eye and his hair has turned azure. Everyone was shocked. At this moment, the battle on the lake finally came to an end. Zhao Linlong and Xian Fei took a head-on blow and both spat out blood. A deep cut appeared on Zhao Linlong's shoulder, and he fell into the lake. Thank you. Xian Fei floated back to the lakeshore. With the gaze of a wind and cloud king, he swept his gaze across the entire crowd. Zhao Linlong's face was dim as he returned to the pavilion. You! Suddenly, Zhao Linlong's eyes landed on the azure-haired young man in the pavilion. Zhao Feng! I can't believe you're here! Xian Fei's eyes flashed, and his body was filled with battle intent. Everyone's eyes were on the azure-haired young man. He's back! Some of the upper echelons of the Zhao clan couldn't help but exclaim. In the pavilion, Zhao Linlong had a complicated expression and his voice was a bit hoarse. Zhao Feng, you've come back at the right time to win for the Zhao clan. Zhao Feng, I'm lacking a real opponent. Xian Fei challenged Zhao Feng. No need, I'm just here to have a look. Zhao Feng smiled faintly and rejected the challenge. Wouldn't he be bullying the weak if he came to the summit at his level? Although Zhao Feng was younger than most of the youths here. Reject the challenge? Only Zhao Linlong realized that Zhao Feng's aura was immeasurably deep. Zhao Feng's strength probably exceeded his level and he didn't want to fight him. Ting! Just as Xian Fei was about to speak, a few figures appeared from afar. Ha! Sun Feather City's summit is only SOSO. The three youths entered the venue of the summit. The one in the middle was a youth in a black robe who had reached the peak 6th rank of the martial path. The two youths beside him had also reached the 6th rank. Who's there? The crowd exclaimed. Not good! These three are the geniuses of Maplewood City. The one leading them is called Yu Tianhua. I heard that he's unrivaled amongst the younger generation in several small cities. Zhao Linlong exclaimed. Half a month ago, he had fought with Yu Tianhua and was defeated within 10 moves. Yu Tianhua. Some of the youths here had heard of this name before. Sun Feather City, send out your strongest genius to fight with me. Yu Tianhua's cold eyes scanned the crowd. Xian Fei sneered and stepped forward. Yu Tianhua smiled in disdain and waved his palms. A black light broke out from his body and gave off a tyrannical aura. Zhao Feng found that Yu Tianhua's skill was a bit demonic. He guessed that this person should be cultivating an incomplete half-holy skill. Pa! The two exchanged a few moves and Xian Fei was sent flying with a palm and spat out blood. How is this possible? You're not at the 6th rank of the martial path. Xian Fei's face was pale white and filled with shock. Ha! That's right! You have good eyes. Yu Tianhua let out a wild laugh. A black inner strength was suddenly released, forming a strange aura. 7th rank of the martial path. Everyone was shocked and felt a suffocating pressure. Even the elders of the several clans in the spectator stands were shocked. From the strength he had displayed, even the elders of the Zhao clan might not be his match. Who else can fight with the geniuses of Sun Feather City? How about this? Your 3 strongest geniuses can come at me together. Yu Tianhua and the other two stood in the middle of the venue and laughed. At this moment, the geniuses of the 3 families of Sun Feather City had ugly expressions. These people were here to cause trouble and crush the geniuses of Sun Feather City under their feet. Chapter 202. At the venue of the summit, Yu Tianhua and the other two laughed wantonly. Their expressions were arrogant and condescending. The geniuses of the 3 families cursed out loud. The elders on the spectator stand wanted to take action, but they didn't know what to do. They were the elders after all. Even if they kicked them out, it would bring shame to the 3 families. Everyone attack! The youths were enraged to the extreme and finally exploded, pouncing towards Yu Tianhua and the other two. Pun! 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 However, before they could even get close, they were sent flying by Yu Tianhua's inner strength. When one reached the 7th stage of the martial path, one's inner force could pierce through the air and injure others. It was a level higher than a martial artist. Ha! The geniuses of Sun Feather City are only SOSO. Trying to bully them with numbers? I, Yu Tianhua, will take you all on. Yu Tianhua became more arrogant as he fought, his aura becoming stronger. Most of the youths were of the 4th or 5th rank, so they couldn't even get close to him. In just a short while, 10 of them couldn't even stand up. Zhao Linlong and the others clenched their teeth and prepared to take action. You guys aren't his match, let me. Zhao Feng sighed. Under this situation, the elders of the Zhao clan couldn't take action. Furthermore, with Yu Tianhua's strength, most elders of the 7th rank wouldn't be his match. Seeing Zhao Feng take action, the eyes of Zhao Linlong and the others lit up. Zhao Feng was the top genius of the last Bright Moon sect. He had entered the Guanjuan Palace a year ago and was said to be the disciple of the legendary Lord Guanjuan. His story was a legend in Sun Feather City. Who's that? It's Zhao Feng, the top genius of the last Bright Moon sect. He should be able to take on Yu Tianhua. Many people recognized Zhao Feng. Brother Zhao, this guy has the strength of a martial master, he's very strong. Xian Fei wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and reminded. Yu Tianhua and company noticed Zhao Feng. It was a young man with azure hair and a single eye. He was indifferent and calm, and the aura he emanated was unfathomable. He was like the ruler of the night. Yu Tianhua's smile disappeared. He stared at Zhao Feng and actually put away his arrogance and contempt. Even he couldn't see through the youth in front of him, but the other party's every move vaguely gave him pressure. He had only felt a similar feeling from the mysterious teacher who had taught him martial arts. Moreover, Zhao Feng's gaze was sharp and powerful, as if it could see through one's soul. Just his gaze alone was enough to give others pressure. Ha! One-eyed dragon? Kid! Your get-up is more like scaring little kids. Why are you pretending to be a one-eyed bandit? The two people beside Yu Tianhua raised their heads and laughed. Although Zhao Feng was wearing an eye patch, he did not look ferocious. Coupled with his tall stature and elegant blue hair, there was a tinge of evilness and elegance in his indifference. 3 idiots! I'll give you a chance. Get out of the Zhao clan before I count to 10. Zhao Feng's eyes were filled with coldness and murderous intent. Suddenly, his azure hair danced in the air even though there was no wind. Everyone was shocked and their gazes were all attracted by Zhao Feng. This is the aura. Zhao Feng, who was in the Zhao clan's pavilion, caught the subtle change. It turned out that every move of Zhao Feng naturally contained the intent of the wind. A year ago at the summit, Zhao Feng and Xian Wuheng had a similar feeling. An expert. This was the aura of an expert. Yu Tianhua and the other two felt a strong visual impact and were almost stunned. 10. 9. 8. Zhao Feng started to count down. The geniuses of the 3 clans held their breaths as excitement appeared on their faces. At this moment, Zhao Feng's domineering aura seemed to be suppressing his opponent. At the very least, in terms of momentum, he was suppressing his opponent. So cool! Why does he have such beautiful hair? I want to dye my hair too. The hearts of some of the girls were beating fast. Especially Zhao Feng's azure hair, the color was pure like bamboo, giving off a sense of spirituality. Even the most beautiful girl of Sun Feather City, Qiumingyu, was a bit envious and curious. He's a boy, how can he have such beautiful hair? I remember this guy had black hair before. 8. 7. 6. Zhao Feng's gaze was like a blade as he stared at Yu Tianhua and the other two. Kid, don't be arrogant! Yu Tianhua looked fierce, but he was weak inside. To be honest, he was shocked by Zhao Feng's aura. But he was unwilling to leave just like that. To think that he, Yu Tianhua, had swept away the geniuses of the surrounding cities. How glorious was that? How could he yield in front of this kid? However, as soon as Yu Tianhua opened his mouth, the situation changed. Zhao Feng's voice came to a halt. Shua! With a flash, Zhao Feng appeared next to the 3. Without saying anything, he raised his leg and kicked. What's going on? He didn't finish counting to 10. Everyone was shocked. Yu Tianhua and the other two were caught off guard. Pun! Zhao Feng kicked one of the geniuses of the 6th rank of the martial path. Plop! The youth screamed as he fell into the lake. Then, Zhao Feng raised his leg and kicked another person. Don't even think about it! The youth circulated his inner strength and tried to resist. Pun! All of his efforts were in vain. He could only watch helplessly as he was kicked away and fell into the lake. In the blink of an eye, 2 geniuses of the 6th rank of the martial path were kicked into the lake without any ability to resist. This kid is weird, Yu Tianhua cursed. When Zhao Feng attacked, there was an indescribable intent. Even if he could see his movements, he couldn't dodge it. Yu Tianhua had only felt this level from his teacher. Could it be that this kid had reached the level of the martial Dao Saint realm? He was shocked as he circulated his inner strength to protect himself. However, his demonic Dao inner strength couldn't hinder Zhao Feng in the slightest. His opponent's body was flowing with a green light that was a level higher than inner strength. It suppressed his inner strength and made it hard for him to move. Not good. This is true force. True force that only a holy martial path expert can possess. Stop! Yu Tianhua shouted in surprise. Why? Zhao Feng's foot stopped in front of his chest, and he smiled. You didn't finish counting to 10. You're going back on your words, Yu Tianhua said incoherently. Pun! Zhao Feng kicked him into the lake and sneered. I can count to 10, but that's only if you cooperate obediently. If you dare to be rude, I'll make you regret it for the rest of your lives. In a short while, the 3 were all kicked into the lake. The geniuses of the 3 clans were dumbfounded. A master of the 7th rank of the martial path was kicked away by Zhao Feng. Some of the elders behind him were shocked and speechless. Someone bring them up, Zhao Feng ordered. Soon, some youths brought the 3 back to the shore. Yu Tianhua and the other 2 had been kicked by Zhao Feng. Their limbs were numb, and they didn't even have the strength to walk. The 3 of you dare to come to the Zhao clan's territory. I'll give you one last chance. Kneel down and apologize. Zhao Feng looked down at the 3. Impossible! Yu Tianhua snickered coldly. My master is a holy realm expert. If you dare to touch a hair of mine, the Zhao family will have no place in the Cloud Country. He admitted that he wasn't Zhao Feng's match, but it was impossible for him to kneel down and apologize. Holy martial path expert. The expressions of some of the elders of the 3 clans changed drastically. Hee hee! How arrogant! It looks like you don't know who the true ruler of the Cloud Country is. Zhao Feng chuckled. Hearing this, Yu Tianhua's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that Zhao Feng could also reach that level? Since you're so arrogant, don't blame me for crippling your cultivation. Zhao Feng raised his palm and slapped Yu Tianhua. Crack! The meridians in Yu Tianhua's body were broken inch by inch. Then, the inner strength in his body was wiped out. No! Yu Tianhua screamed. He wanted to beg, but it was too late. Zhao Feng had only used a bit of true force to wipe out all the inner strength in his body, destroying his meridians and dantian. In the blink of an eye, Yu Tianhua had become a cripple. The crowd could only feel a chill penetrating their bones. Qiu Mingyu, the most beautiful girl of Sunfeather City, suddenly remembered how she used her beauty to seduce Zhao Feng. Thinking about it now, she was scared. Spare us! Sir, please spare us. We admit our defeat and apologize to the Zhao clan. The other 2 were scared out of their wits and kowtowed. Piss off. I gave you 2 chances, but you didn't take it. If you disobey again. Yes. The 2 youths of the 6th rank carried Yu Tianhua out of the Zhao clan. After leaving the Zhao clan's territory, Yu Tianhua bit his lips and said with hatred, Zhao Feng. Just you wait. Teacher won't let you go. Before, the 3 didn't dare to speak. Yu Tianhua was even more worried that if he opened his mouth, it would give Zhao Feng an excuse to kill him. Back mountain of the Zhao clan. The accident at the summit was settled by Zhao Feng. At the summit, the geniuses of Sun Feather City looked at the legendary youth from last year's summit with admiration, respect, and fear. The summit came to an end. Zhao Feng didn't participate in the summit, but his appearance made all the other geniuses dim. That night, in the main hall of the Zhao clan, the family head and a few elders welcomed Zhao Feng. In the banquet, Zhao Linlong and the others were lucky enough to join. Seeing Zhao Feng being respected by the family head and the elders, they felt complicated. The family head, Zhao Tiansung, was nervous. Thinking of how he had treated Zhao Feng in the past, Zhao Tsungtian felt uneasy. With Zhao Feng's current strength, it was easy for him to deal with the head of the Zhao family. Fortunately, Elder Zhao Yusong had a good relationship with Zhao Feng, and they often talked and laughed. Zhao Yusong had discovered Zhao Feng in the family martial gathering and had helped him many times since then. Zhao Feng obviously wouldn't forget his kindness, so he secretly gave Zhao Yusong a few marrow cleansing pills, as well as some half-mortal rank or peak rank mortal cultivation techniques. These things weren't worth mentioning to Zhao Feng, but they were priceless treasures to those outside the sections. Zhao Yusong was grateful for his foresight back then. I heard that Yu Tianhua has a sacred realm expert behind him. If Feng'er destroys his cultivation, I'm afraid. The patriarch and several elders felt uneasy and worried about this. A sacred realm expert? I'd like to see him. Zhao Feng sneered. At the level of the clan head and the others, they still didn't know that in the Cloud Nation, there was an existence that was above all. At the end of the banquet, Zhao Feng suddenly remembered something. You mean Zhao Yufei? Chapter 203. Zhao Feng had only asked casually, but he didn't think that the upper echelons of the Zhao clan would actually know where Zhao Yufei was. That year in the Guanjuan Palace, Quan Chen had personally fought with Lord Guanjuan. The scene was chaotic, and after that, Zhao Yufei had disappeared. But Zhao Feng had used his left eye to look at the city, and confirmed that Zhao Yufei had been taken away by her grandfather, so he didn't pursue the matter. Zhao Tianxing said, "If you had come half a month earlier, you would have met her." Half a month ago? Zhao Feng was slightly shocked. Does that mean that Zhao Yufei had come back? When Sister Yufei came back, everyone was stunned. She was like a goddess, even the most beautiful Chiu Mingyu of Sun Feather City was overshadowed. Zhao Linlong and the other juniors sighed. Thinking back to the scene, everyone was shocked. The elders and the head of the family were full of respect. Oh? What shocking things did Yufei do at that time? Zhao Feng asked curiously. Zhao Tianxing immediately explained what had happened. It had happened half a month ago. Zhao Yufei had returned to the Zhao clan, but she was only passing by. After a year, Zhao Yufei returned to Sun Feather City. She was as beautiful as a fairy, stunning the mortal world. A year ago, she was already as pretty as the prettiest girl in the Sun Feather Peak, Chiu Mingyu. But after a year, she had completely transformed into a fairy. At that time, the young master of the Xian family had been taught a lesson because of her beauty. After that, the elders of the Chiu and Xian family came to ask for her hand in marriage, but they were easily defeated by her. Zhao Yusong exclaimed. Half a month ago, Zhao Yufei's performance was too shocking. Of course, only a few people knew about this. After that, the Chiu and Xian family became even more secretive towards the Zhao family. I see. After listening, Zhao Feng already had a guess in his heart. Only by advancing to the transcending mortality stage would one be able to be reborn. Moreover, Zhao Yufei was currently in the 18 changes period of a young girl. If he wasn't wrong, Zhao Yufei must have joined another sect. After all, there were 13 sects in the 13 countries of the Sky Cloud Forest. For the next couple of days, Zhao Feng stayed at the Zhao clan to accompany his parents. He also taught Zhao Linlong, Zhao Qi, and the others martial arts. Even the patriarch and several elders humbly came to consult Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng was not stingy with his teachings. After all, he had grown up here. On the third day, bad news came from the Zhao clan. Yu Tianhua's mysterious teacher, that reclusive Saint Realm Master, has already arrived at Sun Feather City. Zhao Tsingtian, the master of the family, came over in panic. Zhao Feng said calmly, "What's there to panic about? What's there to let these people come?" The true power of the Cloud Country was the Broken Moon clan. For Zhao Feng, this was his territory. Even if the opponent's cultivation was higher than his, they would have to think twice. Furthermore, from Yu Tianhua's skills, Zhao Feng could tell that the opponent wasn't very strong. On the fourth day, news came from the upper echelon of the Zhao clan. Yu Tianhua's mysterious teacher has been invited by the Qiu and Xian family. This news made the head of the family, and the others even more worried. Half a month ago, Zhao Yufei returned and shocked both the Qiu and Xian clans, sweeping away the two clans' reputation. And now, the two families had found a chance to get close to a Saint Realm Master. The Qiu and Xian family don't know what's good for them. Do they want to be removed from Sun Feather City? A bright smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. In the eyes of ordinary clans in the secular world, a sage was basically a legendary and invincible existence. Therefore, the two clans were very confident. But how would they know that in the clan world, the holy martial path was just the beginning? On the same night. Not good! The elders of the Qiu and Xian family as well as the Saint Realm Master have come to visit the Zhao clan. The upper echelon of the Zhao family panicked. Guests. Zhao Feng casually spat out two words. Inside the hall of the Zhao clan, the head of the family was on pins and needles. The elders were uneasy, but they forced themselves to calm down. Head of the family. Zhao Feng suddenly spoke. "Feng'er, what can I do for you?" Zhao Tiansung said politely. "Have you ever thought about making the Zhao clan the only family in Sun Feather City?" Zhao Feng smiled faintly and said, "What? You mean?" The head of the family and the elders were all shocked. Zhao Feng was too arrogant. Dominating the Zhao clan? The Qiu and Xian families have deep roots, especially the Xian family, who have connections with the other families in the royal capital. Plus, the Guanjuan Palace and the Cloud Country don't want to see a single family dominating any area. Zhao Yusong shook his head and sighed. Even if the Zhao clan didn't have the power, they would face a lot of resistance. As long as they want. None of this is a problem. Zhao Feng smiled and didn't say anything else. At that instant, footsteps could be heard coming from outside the hall, followed by a powerful aura. "Those who hurt my disciple, kneel down and accept your death." A vigorous and deep voice reverberated in the huge hall. In the next moment, the aura of the ascended mortality saint stage descended from the sky and penetrated the heaven and earth yuan qi. Boom! The head of the family and elders in the hall felt as if they had suffered a heavy blow, and their breathing became hard. The upper echelon of the Qiu and Xian families surrounded a white-bearded elder as they entered the hall. "Who's Zhao Feng?" The white-bearded elder scanned the hall. His gaze quickly landed on Zhao Feng, who was the only one who remained calm and had a mysterious smile on his face. "You are..." The expression of the white-bearded elder changed slightly when he saw Zhao Feng. With his level, he could obviously see that Zhao Feng was at the ascended realm, which meant that Zhao Feng's cultivation was even higher than his. A measly second sky dares to find trouble with me?" Zhao Feng shook his head with a smile. The white-brow old man's face changed, the true power in his body surged, and he bellowed. "Brat! This is the territory of the Broken Moon clan. How dare you do this?" "Broken Moon clan?" Zhao Feng was dazed when he heard this. "Kid, are you scared? I won't trouble you. Just apologize and I'll let you go." The white-browed old man had a proud look on his face and was filled with confidence. Even if the opponent was from the same world, this was the territory of the Broken Moon clan. If the opponent didn't have a high cultivation, they would have to think twice. Hearing this, the expressions of the Qiu and Xian families changed. How could they let this brat go so easily? The white-browed old man glanced at them coldly. The cultivation of this kid in front of him might be above his own. Right now, he was like an arrow on a bowstring, and he needed to find a way out. That Yu Tianhua was just a disciple he had casually taken in, and he was only used to run errands. But if he fought with a true saint for him, it would be a huge loss. Hee, Broken Moon Clan? Looking at your old age, you are still running around outside. You must be an errand boy for the External Affairs Hall. Zhao Feng smiled. What? You? The white-bearded elder's expression changed dramatically. He didn't think that Zhao Feng would see through his identity. That's right. He was the same as Lord Guanjuan. He belonged to the Outer Mission Division and was sent out to run errands. This kind of clan members usually didn't have enough cultivation and thus were sent out to run errands. Lord Guanjuan and Lord Sangtia were people that didn't belong to the clan. Could it be that you're also? Cold sweat appeared on the white-bearded elder's forehead. Pa! Zhao Feng took out a jade token and threw it on the ground as he stared coldly at the white-bearded elder without saying a word. There was an eye-catching true character on the jade token. Core disciple! The white-bearded elder's face instantly paled as he panicked. I'm blind and didn't recognize Mount Tai. After saying this, he respectfully handed the token to Zhao Feng with a humble expression. Being a member of the Outer Mission Division, the white-bearded elder had been an outer disciple and hadn't reached the ascended realm before the age of 30. And the core disciple of the inner disciples was an existence that he could only dream of. Although the white-bearded elder had always been at the edge of the clan, he still knew a bit about the clan. Normally, the core disciples of the inner disciples would have the upper echelons of the clan behind them, such as an elder. To him, who was at the bottom of the sect, such a person was no different from a crown prince. This scene made the three families of Sun Feather City dazed. What's going on? The Chiu and Xian families panicked. The upper echelons of the Zhao clan looked at Zhao Feng with shock and joy. No one had expected that the reclusive master would lead the higher-ups of the two clans to denounce them. In the end, they would end up in such dire straits. The so-called hidden expert had surrendered to Zhao Feng. Cripple these people's cultivations. From today onwards, there will only be one big family in Sun Feather City, the Zhao clan. Zhao Feng ordered. The Chiu and Xian clans were shameless. Half a month ago, Zhao Yufei made a move to intimidate them. Who would have thought that this group of people did not know what was good for them? Yes. The white-browed elder had a respectful expression on his face. Instead of being shocked, he was overjoyed. This was the perfect opportunity for him to redeem himself. What happened next was shocking. The white-bearded elder beat all the upper echelons of the Chiu and Xian families to the ground, crippling their cultivation. This scene made the upper echelons of the Zhao clan suck in a cold breath. They had finally seen the extraordinary power of a sage. And such an expert was willing to be Zhao Feng's lackey. On the same night, the Chiu and Xian families were removed from Sun Feather City. More than half of the upper echelons of the two families had their cultivation crippled. Even if they stayed in Sun Feather City, they wouldn't be able to fight against the Zhao clan. The Chiu family left Sun Feather City to join a big family in the capital. And the Xian family directly submitted to the Zhao clan. One night, the situation in Sun Feather City had changed drastically. Zhao Feng and the white-bearded elder looked at it all coldly. The rise and fall of the mortal world, in their eyes, was like the migration of ants. As a disciple of a righteous sect, why would your disciple know a demonic skill, even though it's only at the half-mortal level? Zhao Feng asked casually. The white-browed old man said in panic. That demon Dao cultivation technique was obtained by me in a corner of the sky cloud forest. Recently, there were traces of foreign sections. Foreign sects? So you're the one who found the mission? Zhao Feng asked curiously. That's right, I was the one who found the foreign sections. Lord Guanjuan is also helping, but none of the people he sent out have returned. The white-bearded elder explained. What a coincidence. Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. He didn't think that Lord Guanjuan would be involved in this mission as well. According to what I know, this mission is a rank 5 mission. Are you carrying out the mission alone? The white-bearded elder asked carefully. Chapter 204. That's right, it's just me. Zhao Feng glanced at the white-bearded old man, and he could guess what the latter was thinking. In the Broken Moon clan, only those at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm or higher could take on a 5th level mission. Since Zhao Feng was by himself, it was obvious that his cultivation hadn't reached the requirement yet. There have been figures at the 7th sky of the Ascended Realm in the foreign clan. Although we won't fight them head-on, the risk of this mission is extremely high, and there's a chance that it might be above the 6th level. The white-bearded old man added, as if he wanted Zhao Feng to back off. He had originally thought that the clan would place great importance on a mission related to the foreign clan and send at least 2 at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm, or even 1 at the 6th sky of the Ascended Realm. But who would have thought that only 1 disciple would be sent for this mission? Since the clan is willing to give this mission to me, there must be a reason. Zhao Feng's tone was filled with confidence, which surprised the white-bearded old man. But then he thought about it. According to normal procedures, the clan wouldn't allow people to take on missions higher than their cultivation, let alone such a sensitive and dangerous mission. But the clan had allowed it. This itself was very strange. The white-bearded old man couldn't help but look at Zhao Feng a few more times. This youth was very young, but his words and actions were calm, and the decisiveness he had displayed was not something that disciples of the same age could compare to. This mission must be completed within 10 days. Zhao Feng continued. 10 days? That's a bit hard. The clues about the foreign clan are deep within the sky cloud forest. Trying to find them is like finding a needle in a haystack, the white-bearded old man said. The 3-clan party is about to begin in 10 days, so, Zhao Feng said decisively. At the same time, he was confident that information gathering was his forte. With his godlike left eye, he was an invincible scout. 3-clan party? The elder with white eyebrows was filled with respect, and his gaze toward Zhao Feng instantly changed. He obviously knew what it meant to be able to participate in the 3-clan party. This meant that Zhao Feng's strength was at the top of the core disciples. After that, the two of them started to discuss the situation of the mission. The white-browed old man took out a map and marked the clues to the foreign sections. Zhao Feng looked at some of the terrain on the map and felt that it was somewhat familiar. Suddenly, another map appeared in his mind. Back when he was in the Guanjuan Palace, he had gone to the Sky Cloud Forest to carry out a mission to exterminate the bandits. That mission was temporarily ended due to the appearance of the mysterious man in the bamboo hat. But not long after, the mysterious man in the bamboo hat controlled the king-level Fierce Beast and led the Fierce Beast army to attack Guanling City. And this time, the clues for the mission also started from this place. Is there a connection between the two? Zhao Feng frowned and fell into deep thought. Zhao Feng had no way of estimating the strength of that mysterious bamboo hat man. After all, his level at the time was limited. But at that time, Zhao Feng instinctively felt that the opponent was stronger than Lord Guanjuan. What left the deepest impression on him was that the mysterious man in the bamboo hat had a pair of deep blue eyes. What's your name? Zhao Feng suddenly asked. My name is Bai Yinlai. My nickname is White Brow. You can call me White Brow Old Man. The white-browed old man smiled awkwardly. Zhao Feng only started to pay attention to his name now. His presence was too low. White Brow Old Man, I alone will be enough for this mission, Zhao Feng ordered. But, the white-browed old man was surprised. Zhao Feng didn't need his help to carry out this mission alone. You can leave now, I've been there before. Zhao Feng waved his hand impatiently. Yes, yes! The white-browed old man didn't dare to disobey. His figure flashed and disappeared from the room. Sending the white-browed old man away, Zhao Feng's lips curled into a smile. On the same night, the white-browed old man and Zhao Feng disappeared one after the other. Deep into the night, the old man with white eyebrows flew like a ghost and left Sun Feather City quickly. Humph! I don't know if this brat is arrogant or smart, he doesn't need my help. The white-browed old man murmured to himself as his figure merged into the night and headed towards a certain direction in the Sky Cloud Forest. After entering the Sky Cloud Forest, the white-browed old man's speed didn't slow down, and he seemed to be very familiar with the terrain. He didn't know that there was a shadow-like existence behind him that merged into the night. Shwa! The Yin shadow cloak shook and a half-transparent figure with flowing azure hair appeared. As I thought. Zhao Feng laughed coldly. His left eye could see hundreds of yards away, and he could clearly see the white-browed old man's true force and blood flow. Zhao Feng could even see through the old man's organs. After reaching the ascended realm, Zhao Feng's left eye had become stronger, and his power had also increased. The azure abyss in the dimension of his left eye was 4 feet long, and it spun continuously. If one looked closely, they would realize that the true force deep within the white-browed old man's dantian was a hint of scarlet black, and his organs were different from cultivators of the righteous path. He cultivates the demonic sex cultivation technique and is poisoned, yet he still hides it so deeply. Zhao Feng saw the white-browed old man's situation clearly. No one under the true spirit realm could hide from Xiao Feng's eyes. Of course, this was under the condition that he purposely used his left eye. Under normal situations, he wouldn't be so bored. However, this mission was different. Xiao Feng thought that there was something wrong with Yu Tianhua's demonic skill. Out of caution, he tried to find out the white-browed old man's background, and the result shocked him. It was obvious that the white-browed old man had betrayed the Broken Moon clan. Therefore, Xiao Feng let the white-browed old man go and chased after him. With his cultivation and the Yin shadow cloak, it was extremely easy for him to chase after a small fry from the clan. Xiao Feng also realized that the Yin shadow cloak's stealth was doubled at night. At night, even if he didn't purposely circulate his true force, the Yin shadow cloak's stealth ability allowed him to blend into the darkness. After entering the depths of the sky cloud forest, the white-browed old man's speed suddenly increased. A scarlet-black true force appeared in his body, and his aura rose to a new level, increasing his speed. Peak third sky of the ascended realm. A light flashed in Zhao Feng's eyes. But this was good too, the old man's speed could save him some time. 4 to 6 hours later. The white-browed old man passed through a river. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up. He had been to this river before. It was that time when he passed through this place and met the mysterious hooded figure. It looks like the clue is here. Why did the mysterious hooded figure stop us? He even wanted to control the deadly beast army to destroy the Guanjuan city. Xiao Feng started to feel that there was a problem here. After passing through the river, the white-browed old man's speed slowed down, and his expression became cautious. The next part of the journey was more dangerous. There were many high-tier deadly beasts nearby, and in some areas, there were even lower-tier deadly beasts, which were Yao beasts. Deadly beasts that surpassed the peak tier were Yao beasts. For example, the illusion fox that Zhao Feng met in the trial could affect the mind of core disciples. The Yao Beast King and Vine King on the Sky Boundary Island were at least at the true spirit realm. But with his left eye and the Yin shadow cloak, Zhao Feng had an easier time than the white-browed old man leading the way. Suddenly, the white-browed old man's figure stopped. Shwa! 2 black figures appeared in the forest ahead, and their auras had reached the 4th and 5th sky of the ascended realm. White-browed old man, why are you back? One of the black figures said in a cold and cautious voice. I'm here to report that the Broken Moon clan has sent out a powerful core disciple, and he might be coming from here. The white-browed old man said. Why don't you lure him over? The other black figure said. That brat's arrogant and wants to come alone. The white-browed old man snickered. Good. You go back first. It's not bad to be able to control a core disciple. The 2 black figures soon disappeared into the night. The white-browed old man didn't dare to stay any longer and returned. Xiao Feng thought about it, but he didn't attack the white-browed old man in case he alerted the enemy. The 2 black figures seemed to specialize in concealment, and they merged into the night, invisible to the naked eye. But Zhao Feng's left eye was extremely powerful, and he instantly caught sight of one of the black figures heading into the depths of the forest. Success. Zhao Feng used the Yin shadow cloak's cover to chase. The black figure didn't sense Zhao Feng at all. He didn't know that Zhao Feng had just passed by his feet. The tracking was still ongoing. On the way, the black figure passed by a few other figures. The deeper he went, the more terrifying the auras became. At a certain moment, a dark ancient temple appeared in the forest, and it was surrounded by an illusion array. If it wasn't for the fact that Zhao Feng's left eye could see through the array, he wouldn't have been able to see the ancient temple. Stop. On a tree in front of the ancient temple stood a hooded figure with dark blue eyes. It's him. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. The person on the tree was the mysterious hooded figure that he had met twice before. After the black figure reported to the hooded figure, he turned around and left. The hooded figure stood on the tree and looked around with his dark blue eyes. Zhao Feng felt an invisible mental energy wave sweeping towards him. He instinctively activated his bloodline power and pushed the Yin Shadow Cloak's concealment to the maximum. At this moment, his figure was completely distorted in the shadows as if he had become transparent. Not noticing anything amiss, the bamboo-hatted man nodded. Then, he stood on the tree silently. He's not entering the ancient temple? Or maybe a core disciple isn't enough for him to report further. Zhao Feng furrowed his eyebrows. But the mysterious hooded figure didn't move and Zhao Feng didn't dare to act recklessly. This person gave him an indescribable feeling of danger. He tried to use his left eye to see if the hooded figure was real. The mysterious hooded figure seemed to sense something as he suddenly stood up and looked towards Zhao Feng's direction with his dark blue eyes. Zhao Feng was stunned and immediately took back his left eye's power of perception. The opponent clearly hadn't reached the true spirit realm. How could he sense his left eye? Zhao Feng once again felt a powerful mental energy wave gather around him. This hooded figure seems to specialize in mental energy, and his eyes are different from others. Zhao Feng took a deep breath. He was sure that he had encountered a formidable opponent with similar abilities. Moreover, his opponent was more proficient in the spiritual domain and could even control demonic beasts and lead an army of vicious beasts. At this moment, it was a battle. Chapter 205. The hooded figure's blue eyes scanned the area where Zhao Feng was at. Wisps of mental energy fluctuations spread out like a spiderweb. They were obscure, powerful, and unpredictable. Suddenly, Zhao Feng's heart shook as he felt the ground beneath his feet shatter and turn into a bottomless abyss. In the air, countless fireballs, each weighing hundreds of thousands of pounds, roared as they smashed towards him. This destructive power could be said to be catastrophic, and even those at the true spirit realm would be in danger. In that moment of life and death, Zhao Feng's left eye glowed with a sharp azure light, and the azure abyss in the dimension of his left eye spun and expanded. Who? Zhao Feng took a deep breath and the illusion in front of him was instantly destroyed as cold sweat appeared on his back. The hooded figure's mental energy illusion was so powerful that it almost made Zhao Feng fall for it. One had to know that even the illusion fox, who specialized in mental energy illusions, wasn't able to affect Zhao Feng. No! This isn't just an illusion, it's also a mental energy attack. If it wasn't for my left eye, my mind would have been heavily injured, and this is even more terrifying than a physical injury. Zhao Feng analyzed the hooded figure's attack. The opponent's usage of mental energy was extremely profound and the mental energy attack seemed to be real. At this moment, Zhao Feng had a clear understanding of the hooded figure's strength. The latter's cultivation had reached the seventh sky of the ascended realm, and his mental energy was comparable to the true spirit realm. Was it just my imagination? The hooded figure stood on the tree in front of the ancient temple and was slightly puzzled. He had always been confident in his instincts because it was a talent that specialized in mental energy. However, there was no reaction when he used illusions on that area. Even cultivators at the seventh sky of the ascended realm would be injured by his illusions, and they might even show flaws. The hooded figure still can't see through me. Zhao Feng let out a breath. The Yin Shadow Cloak was indeed worthy of being an inheritance treasure. In the night, the effect of invisibility was doubled, allowing his figure to merge into the darkness. Moreover, at the crucial moment, Zhao Feng activated his bloodline power without holding back, fully displaying the power of the Yin Shadow Cloak. Meow, meow. It was at this crucial moment that a little gray cat jumped onto the tree on the opposite side. What? Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. He cursed inwardly. You little thieving cat, you could have come out at any time, but you just had to come out now. The little thieving cat grinned and stood on the tree, facing the bamboo hat man. A cat that could turn invisible? What kind of demonic beast is this? The man in bamboo hat revealed a strange expression. Whoosh! The little thieving cat merged into the night and disappeared. Fuck! The little thieving cat also knew how to hide. Zhao Feng was completely dumbfounded. But on second thought, felines were good at moving around at night, not to mention a mysterious race like the little thieving cat. Meow, meow. The little thieving cat appeared on another tree, in a straight line with the bamboo-hatted man, about 10 zhang away from him. This cat is interesting. Maybe it has some special bloodline. The man in bamboo hat's heart moved and decided to capture this little cat that could turn invisible. The little thieving cat smiled and spat out an old bronze coin. The old bronze coin was tossed into the air by the little thieving cat, and it spun around until it landed in the palm of the cat's hand. Isn't this the treasure that the little thieving cat swallowed in the trial? Zhao Feng stared at the old bronze coin. The man in bamboo hat paused, as if he didn't understand the little thieving cat's intentions, but he could see the gloating expression on the little thieving cat's face. Not good! He suddenly exclaimed and looked behind him. So! Whoosh! Whoosh! A beam of red light shot into the sky from the other side of the ancient temple. In that instant, the heaven-earth yuan-qi fluctuated and the aura of the true spirit realm suppressed everything within several miles, causing the hearts of countless beings to tremble. The aura of the true spirit realm. The man in bamboo hat didn't care about the weird little thieving cat anymore. The aura of the true spirit realm had already locked onto him. The little thieving cat swallowed the old bronze coin into its stomach and sat on a tree, as if it was going to watch the tigers fight. The red light soon stopped and floated in the air, revealing a red-robed elder and a red-haired youth around 17 to 18 years old. Master! This is the place! This is where Disciple was ambushed by them! The red-haired youth's breathing quickened as he pointed at the man in bamboo hat. The man in bamboo hat snickered coldly as his blue eyes released a cold ripple that instantly swept over. The eyebrows of the red-robed elder furrowed, but he could deal with it. However, the red-haired youth next to him screamed. Honger! The red-robed elder immediately protected the youth, and a powerful qi of true spirit turned into a scarlet storm that charged towards the man in bamboo hat. In an instant, the fan-shaped area with a diameter of more than 100 feet was turned into charred ashes. The man in bamboo hat panicked and retreated, obviously unable to fight against someone at the true spirit realm. If he was hit by that power, he would die even if he was at the peak 7th sky. Wah! The man in bamboo hat spat out a mouthful of blood and retreated to the ancient temple that was covered by the illusion array. Humph! So you're from the ancient shrine. We're both members of the 13 clans, why did you attack Honger? The red-robed elder fed the youth a spiritual pill and chased into the ancient temple. From the looks of it, the forces within the ancient temple had not only attacked the Broken Moon clan, but also the nearby forces. The red-haired youth's cultivation had reached the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm, which was not bad. In the Broken Moon clan, he would be ranked within the top 5 core disciples. Taking advantage of the chaos, Zhao Feng leapt into the air and landed on a nearby ancient tree. Standing on top of the ancient tree, Zhao Feng opened his left eye and looked through the illusion array to see the situation within the ancient temple. The red-robed elder had been ambushed after entering the ancient temple, but being at the true spirit realm, he was strong and instantly killed 5 to 6 people. Those that were killed were all at least at the 5th sky of the Ascended Realm, and none of them were able to fight back. This is the strength of someone at the true spirit realm. Zhao Feng clucked his tongue. Shizhe, you're indeed worthy of being an elder at the true spirit realm of the Silver Moon clan. Did you not see the heart-controlling seed on him? The hooded figure laughed wickedly. What? Heart-controlling seed? The red-robed elder's expression changed dramatically. Poof! A divine weapon dagger pierced into the red-robed old man's chest. The person who had attacked was the red-haired youth. Honor you. The red-robed elder was filled with grief and sent the youth flying with a surge of true force. The red-robed elder then roared in anger. Today, I will kill all of you. As long as I kill the person who planted the heart-controlling seed, Homer will regain his freedom. On top of the ancient tree, Zhao Feng revealed a thoughtful expression. The Silver Moon clan that the red-robed elder belonged to was one of the 3 clans, one of the clans participating in the 3-clan party along with the Lin Moon clan and Broken Moon clan. The ancient shrine that the hooded figure belonged to was one of the 13 clans like the 3 clans. Right at this moment, the situation within the ancient temple changed once again. Jaja. A silver-striped blood zombie walked out of one of the deep halls of the ancient temple. The silver-striped blood corpse gave off a cold aura and its eyes glowed red. Its aura was even stronger than the hooded figure's. It's him. Blood Corpse Protector. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat as he watched from afar. He had fought with this silver-striped blood corpse before. Last time in the Scarlet Moon Demonic Cave, he had only barely won. At that time, the Blood Corpse Protector was extremely weak and had just woken up, so he didn't have much strength left. But even then, Zhao Feng and company had almost been killed. Now, the Blood Corpse Protector had recovered his cultivation to the half-step true spirit realm, and his body was even more terrifying. That's true, but before that, a dark red light suddenly shot out from the skeleton's eye sockets. Not good. Zhao Feng, who was standing on top of the tree, felt his heart hurt, as if something disgusting had touched him. Wuyo, go capture the brat outside. I've already left a ghost mark on him. Only you can sense him and have the energy to chase after him. The mysterious skeleton ordered. Meow meow. The little thieving cat suddenly leapt back into the interspatial bracelet. Mission complete. Let's go. Zhao Feng's cloak fluttered and like an arc of lightning, he merged into the night and disappeared. Brat, you won't be able to escape. The hooded figure flew out of the ancient temple and locked onto Zhao Feng with his cold blue eyes. Chapter 206. Zhao Feng circulated his bloodline power, and under the cover of the Yin Shadow Cloak, he merged into the night. At this moment, he had even merged his lightning intent into it, increasing his speed to the maximum, surpassing some at the 6th sky of the Ascended Realm. Speed, stealth and his left eye's control of the terrain. With the combination of these 3, Zhao Feng was confident that he could shake off an injured cultivator at the 7th sky of the Ascended Realm. However, Zhao Feng realized that no matter how he tried to hide, the hooded figure could still accurately catch up to him. He started to realize that this must have something to do with the disgusting thing on him. The skeleton had used some kind of secret technique on him, and the disgusting feeling made Zhao Feng feel helpless for the first time. He wasn't proficient in mental energy, and it wasn't realistic for him to counter the opponent's secret technique in a short amount of time. It looks like running away won't work. Zhao Feng didn't lose his cool as he analyzed the advantages of both sides. As his thoughts spun, Zhao Feng realized that he had a high chance of killing the hooded figure. Firstly, the hooded figure had been injured in the battle with the cultivator at the true spirit realm, and had expended a lot of energy. Secondly, Zhao Feng himself had strong resistance against mental energy attacks. Thirdly, the hooded figure shouldn't be proficient in close combat. This was especially so for the third point, which gave Zhao Feng hope. The hooded figure was proficient in mental energy control, but he didn't seem to be proficient in close combat. In the battle with the cultivator at the true spirit realm, the hooded figure kept his distance, and didn't dare to get close. Only Zhao Feng could calmly analyze the situation and make a decision in such a desperate situation. If it was someone else, they wouldn't even have the thought of fighting back when facing the hooded figure at the 7th sky of the Ascended Realm. Soon, Zhao Feng purposely slowed down his speed after coming up with a plan, to act like he was running out of stamina. After all, his cultivation was only at the 4th sky of the Ascended Realm, and he couldn't maintain such a terrifying speed for a long time. When the hooded figure was 10 yards away, the cloak on Zhao Feng's back suddenly turned and a few blurry figures appeared in the night. Swoosh! Lightning crackled in the air as Zhao Feng suddenly erupted with terrifying speed and counterattacked the bamboo hat man. The hooded figure was already chasing after him, and this meant that their speed had exceeded the seventh sky of the ascended realm. This sudden change surprised the bamboo hat man. He didn't expect that the other party would dare to counterattack. Zhao Feng quickly closed in, the blood meridians and true power in his body condensed to the maximum, as though he could hear the sound of electricity. This was Zhao Feng's strongest attack. Even a cultivator at the sixth sky of the ascended realm would be injured or even killed by it. However, there was no trace of panic on the bamboo hat man's face. His lips curled into a mocking smile, and his deep blue eyes exuded a sinister and bone-chilling mental ripple. No matter how fast a material plane is, it's impossible for it to surpass the speed of the mind. Zhao Feng suddenly froze. He was only 10 feet away from the man in the bamboo hat, and could not take another step forward. The two of them were like two stone statues facing each other. Zhao Feng only felt a cold, corrosive mental energy enter his mind. When a person's consciousness was restrained and confused, how could he control his body? Zhao Feng clenched his teeth and he circulated his left eye to fight back. This guy has such a strong source of mental energy in his body. He's almost immune to mental energy attacks under the true spirit realm. The bamboo hat man was even more surprised. He knew how strong his mental energy attacks were. There weren't many at the seventh sky of the ascended realm who could block it. In the previous battle, he could even disturb those at the true spirit realm. Humph! This brat is blessed by the heavens to have such terrifying talent in mental energy. If he walks on the path of mental energy, even with my special bloodline, I'll be easily surpassed by him. Jealousy appeared in the bamboo hat man's heart, and his killing intent became stronger. Such a genius in the mental energy domain must be killed. It was obvious that the bamboo hat man was stunned by Zhao Feng's talent. Such a strong source of mental energy, almost immune to mental energy attacks and illusions. If it was anyone else in the path of mental energy, their eyes would go red with jealousy and want to kill him. The existence of such a person was the bane of their path. The mental energy attacks from the bamboo hat man became stronger and stronger. Zhao Feng felt that his consciousness was about to collapse. At this critical moment, he furiously circulated his left eye and hid his consciousness in the dimension of his left eye. The bamboo hat man's mental energy attacks also entered the dimension of his left eye. 1. Inside the dimension of his left eye, the azure abyss spun quickly and an indescribable suction force formed in the soul dimension. Not good! That's... The bamboo hat man screamed in fear. He felt that his mental energy and consciousness were being pulled away by an indescribable force. His mental energy was being sucked away and even his soul was about to be sucked away. The bamboo hat man tried his best to resist, but it was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. At last, he clenched his teeth and even if he had to suffer the backlash, he had to cut off the connection with the force. But right at this moment, the situation changed. Poochie! The bamboo hat man felt a sharp pain in his neck and blood spurted out. A cry of pain echoed in the soul dimension. With a plop, the bamboo hat man fell to the ground dead. His throat was pierced through and there was a small bloody hole. Meow meow! The little thieving cat jumped up and down on the bamboo hat man's body and looked at Zhao Feng with a pleased expression. Zhao Feng broke out in cold sweat. He didn't expect the little thieving cat to attack the bamboo hat man at the most crucial moment. This little thieving cat was not just smart. What is it doing? Zhao Feng's eyes focused and found that the little thieving cat was searching the bamboo hat man's body for his spoils of war. The bamboo hat man's face was revealed. It was the face of a young man. It was pale white and before his death, his face was filled with fear and unwillingness. In just a few breaths' time, the little thieving cat had searched all the valuable items on the bamboo hat man's body and almost took off his underwear. Zhao Feng was dumbfounded. There was a pile of low-grade primal crystal stones. There were 10s of them, and they were all taken by the little thieving cat, eating one at a time. Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat had an agreement that the latter wasn't allowed to eat anything in his interspatial bracelet. But now that the little thieving cat was searching for the spoils of war, there was nothing Zhao Feng could do. The little thieving cat stretched out its paws and gestured at Zhao Feng. Okay. 50-50. Zhao Feng understood its meaning. The little thieving cat was more cunning than a fox, and it wasn't just a normal money grubber. Soon, Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat split the spoils of war. Among the spoils of war, there was an ancient silver-covered book and a few secret manuals of cultivation techniques. Heart-controlling art, ancient shrines, unique mental energy technique, able to control the mind. When trained to a high level, one can control all living beings in the world. Zhao Feng's consciousness entered it, and he felt a large amount of information. Without hesitation, his left eye scanned through and copied the information and scenes into his own. As for the other books, they seemed to be skills of the ancient shrine, but they weren't as profound as the heart-controlling art. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. He had finally found a way to train in mental energy. Right at this time, Zhao Feng sensed something and a figure flashed out of the temple. Shwa! Without hesitation, the cloak on his back fluttered and he disappeared into the night. A while later, the Blood Corpse Protector brought a few subordinates and rushed to the scene. Take the body back and leave that brat to me. The Blood Corpse Protector chased after Zhao Feng. But he was heavily injured and he wasn't familiar with the ghost mark, so he soon lost track of Zhao Feng. Within the hall. Division leader, I'm familiar with that brat's aura. He's a disciple of the Broken Moon clan and he has a pure ancient bloodline. The Blood Corpse Branch Protector said respectfully. Not only does he have an ancient bloodline, he also has a strong source of mental energy that's 10 times stronger than we use. A weak and empty voice came from the skeleton. How is this possible? The Blood Corpse Protector was stunned. Wu Yu was a genius that only appeared once in 100 years in the path of mental energy. If such a genius could join the dark secluded division, we would be able to revive the holy religion. Fortunately, the nether spirit mark on him won't dissipate within 3 years. The skeleton's voice was filled with excitement and expectation. Division leader, that brat won't join the holy religion so easily. Last time I invited him, I was tricked by him. Thinking about what happened last time, the Blood Corpse Protector still held a grudge. When there's enough profit, anything is possible. The red flame in the skeleton's eye sockets dimmed and it said, Immediately retreat to the Iron Dragon country and meet up with the other 2 divisions. The 13 clans are not important. 3 days later. In a hidden bird's nest in the sky cloud forest. Meow meow. The little thieving cat happily jumped on a branch and spat out an old bronze coin, which it tossed above its head. Zhao Feng opened his eyes and a wisp of mental energy rippled from his body. If one paid attention, they would realize that his aura had changed and become even more strange. Over the past few days, Zhao Feng had been comprehending the secret technique left behind by the hooded figure. Now that he had learnt some mental energy techniques, he had one foot in the door. Only after this did Zhao Feng realize how powerful the source of mental energy in the dimension of his left eye was. However, right now Zhao Feng could only use a small portion of this source of mental energy. The majority of it was in a half-sealed state, and couldn't be used unless it was at a critical moment. Even so, Zhao Feng's talent in this Tao was unparalleled by the heavens. Some. Right at this moment, a figure flew over from the other side of the forest. At the same time, the little thieving cat's old bronze coin landed on its palm. Zhao Feng focused his eyes and saw that the newcomer was the old man with white eyebrows. Humph! Zhao Feng's figure leapt and landed on a tree opposite him. Ah! It's you! The old man with white eyebrows panicked. Kneel! Zhao Feng sent out 2 words in the mental energy dimension. At that instant, the wind seemed to freeze. Only Zhao Feng's cloak and azure hair fluttered in the wind. The old man with white eyebrows felt a powerful mental energy surge into his mind, causing him to lose consciousness. After that, everything he did was no longer guided by his own subjectivity and consciousness. "I'll ask you a question, and you'll answer it." Xiao Feng looked down from above, as if he was the ruler of the world. "Yes." The old man with white eyebrows had a respectful expression, as if he was worshipping an emperor. At this moment, his mind was already under Xiao Feng's control. He could even kill himself if he wanted. Chapter 207. This was Xiao Feng's first time using a mental energy technique, and he had only just stepped through the door. Everything went more smoothly than expected. First Elder and Li Fuwan were both right. Xiao Feng's true talent was in mental energy. In just 2 to 3 days he had stepped into the door of mind attacks and even gained a preliminary understanding of the basic secrets and secret techniques of heart control art. If the hooded figure was still alive, he would have killed himself with a piece of tofu. If the mysterious skeleton knew of this, it wouldn't have retreated so quickly and would have taken down Xiao Feng no matter what price it had to pay. At this moment, in the forest, Xiao Feng and the white-bearded old man exchanged questions. "Why did you betray the Broken Moon clan?" "I was threatened by them. I had no choice." The white-bearded old man's face was filled with fear and fear. Xiao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. The situation wasn't as simple as it seemed. Not only was the white-bearded old man threatened, his soul was also affected, and he was extremely respectful towards the existence of the Broken Moon clan. The mind control art's mysterious mind secret technique could affect and even control a person's mind. Xiao Feng's understanding of this wasn't as deep as the hooded figure. "What's the background of this force? What's the connection between the ancient shrine and the Scarlet Moon religion? I'm only working for them, but I don't know their background or the existence of the Scarlet Moon religion." The white-bearded old man was slightly puzzled. Xiao Feng was greatly surprised. The white-bearded old man seemed to only be an errand boy and didn't enter the inner circle. His understanding of the inner circle wasn't even as good as his. With a series of questions, Xiao Feng's guesses were confirmed. The white-bearded old man was only an outer member, and was controlled by the Scarlet Moon religion. He was just a bait, a chess piece. According to his understanding, the Scarlet Moon religion had infiltrated into the 13 clans, but most of it was limited to the outer circle. Half a day later, Guanjuan Palace, in a study room. "I can't believe that in just half a year, you've become a core disciple and a disciple of First Elder." Lord Guanjuan's face was filled with surprise and joy. When he sent Xiao Feng to the Sky Moon Mountain, he didn't think that he would have such a good future. At that time, Lord Guanjuan thought that Xiao Feng's chance of success wasn't higher than 50%, but that was already quite high. After half a year, Xiao Feng had become a true disciple and was about to participate in the 3-sect party. He had become a genius of his generation in the sect. In the study, apart from Xiao Feng, a white-browed man stood at the side in fear and trepidation. Xiao Feng gave a brief summary of the mission. Lord Guanjuan was shocked, not only because of Xiao Feng's strength, but also because of the influence of the Scarlet Moon religion. Who would have thought that a Scarlet Moon branch leader-level character would appear in the Cloud Country? Lord Guanjuan's heart skipped a beat. Up until now, Xiao Feng did not know the true identity of the skeleton in the ancient temple. After all, his left eye only provided him with sight, but it could not hear the conversation. He guessed that with the respect the Blood Corps division had for the mysterious skeleton, the latter could be a chapter leader-level character. In the past, the Scarlet Moon religion had 108 chapters spread across the continent. Any one of them could dominate an area and shake the 13 sect alliances. Therefore, it was hard for Xiao Feng to think of a division leader-level character. "Master, what kind of clan is the ancient shrine?" Xiao Feng suddenly asked curiously. Lord Guanjuan replied solemnly. "The ancient shrine is ranked second in the 13 clans and is the most mysterious clan. The headquarters of this clan is in the depths of the Sky Cloud Forest. Up until now, no one knows where the headquarters of the ancient shrine is. So mysterious!" Xiao Feng couldn't help but click his tongue. For a clan to be able to hide themselves to this extent and have their headquarters in the depths of the sky cloud forest, it wasn't simple at all. The ancient shrine specializes in mental energy secret techniques. Although it is a heretical sect, it is extremely strict when it comes to the succession of disciples. Every generation only accepts a few disciples. The total number of members of the ancient shrine is probably less than 100. Lord Guanjuan explained. Xiao Feng couldn't help but think that mental energy was as rare as Bei Mua's spiritual body. The requirements to enter this path were too high, meaning that they would only be able to walk the path of elites. But don't underestimate the ancient shrine. Although they don't have many members, their overall strength is ranked second in the 13 clans. That day, the hooded figure controlled the army of deadly beasts to attack the Guanjuan city. He was a member of the ancient shrine. Lord Guanjuan added with a solemn tone, obviously wary of this clan. As for the hooded figure, Xiao Feng only smiled and didn't say anything else. If Lord Guanjuan knew that the terrifying hooded figure had been killed by him, who knew what he would think? But the mysteriousness of the ancient shrine made Xiao Feng think. He felt that there was a special relationship between the ancient shrine and the Scarlet Moon religion. Logically speaking, such a powerful and mysterious clan that specialized in mental energy control shouldn't have been easily infiltrated. If it wasn't, the 13 clans would have been completely infiltrated by the Scarlet Moon religion. In terms of infiltration, the ancient shrine should be the hardest. Of course, this was only Zhao Feng's guesses and he couldn't be sure without evidence. If he spread rumors, the Broken Moon clan would be threatened and pressured by the ancient shrine, who was ranked second. Master, the time for the 3-clan party is almost up. Disciple can't stay any longer, I'll be leaving now. Xiao Feng didn't plan on staying long in the Guanjuan palace. The 3-clan party was the most important thing, and even if he wasn't in a hurry, First Elder would. Good! 3-clan party! I've underestimated your strength. Lord Guanjuan couldn't hide the excitement on his face. The 3-sect party was a legend to him when he was still an outer sect disciple. Feng'er, since you're able to participate in the 3-clan party, it shouldn't be a problem for you to represent the Broken Moon clan in the Alliance banquet. According to what I know, the 3-clan party is just a private competition between the 3 neighboring clans. The Alliance banquet is the true stage of the clan and it's a competition between geniuses. Even Bei Mua can't be considered a top talent in that kind of place. Lord Guanjuan's face was filled with hope. The 3-clan party and the Alliance banquet were both stages that he wanted to enter. Unfortunately, due to his talent and potential, none of these dreams were fulfilled. Master, don't worry. Disciple will take back all the glory. Zhao Feng solemnly left behind these words before drifting away. Following him was the white eyebrow who followed him like a servant. Lord Guanjuan's eyes turned and he suddenly found a bag on the table. Opening it, there were several bottles of pills, a few low-class mortal skills and even 2 middle-grade mortal weapons. Seeing this, Lord Guanjuan's eyes became red, not knowing if he was happy or moved. On the same night. Reporting to Sir. There was a mysterious person who left an item at the bottom of the stairs. There was a message on it, for Milord to read. A Guanjuan core bowed and handed over a metal box. Lord Guanjuan opened it, and saw that there were also some pills and skills inside. Although they weren't as valuable as Zhao Feng's, they were still good. At the bottom of the metal box was a note. One day, I'll take Haiyun Master's head for master. Signed Bei Mua. Lord Guanjuan took in a cold breath as his expression changed. He gathered his true force on his palm and the note instantly turned to dust. Feng'er. M.O. To be able to take the 2 of you as my disciples, I can die without regrets. I can die without regrets. Hiya Master, no matter how many schemes you have, you can't compare to my luck. You've lost. You've lost. Lord Guanjuan's face was filled with joy and he almost went crazy. Broken Moon Clan. There were only 3 days left until the 3-clan party. On this day, Zhao Feng returned and handed the mission to Vice Headley. This mission also included the betraying white eyebrow. The 3-clan party will leave today. Yang Gan's voice sounded from outside the courtyard.